Bellevue and Broadway. But hurry, it all ends Saturday, March 30th.
Oh, corn dogs.
After discussing corn dogs last night.
From
Sonic. I didn't, though, because here's why. As I'm driving to Sonic, I'm thinking about this. I don't think about it until I get on I-25, and I'm driving all the way in, and I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? I'm going to make Angie so happy. Parenthetical here. Here's a little tangent. Angie had to do some extra work today because of some stuff we're going to be doing with upcoming show on Fox News.
Oh, it's a flashback.
This is like the squirrel. This is a shiny object. I looked up and I see Louis Farrakhan, and I completely if there's anything get my mind off corn dogs, it's Louis Farrakhan, right? I mean, corn dogs and anti-Semitism. I mean, what are you going to look at? You're going to look at the anti-Semite black guy up there telling the white people they need to die or something. But anyway, so I'm driving in, and I'm thinking, Angie will be so happy because I'll get us corn dogs. And then I think to myself, because now I'm thinking it through, right, which I rarely seldom do. I'm way too spontaneous about stuff like this. Tamara made homemade chili for dinner tonight. So I had a big heaping, steaming hot bowl of chili with a ton of garlic in it, with oyster crackers and some grated cheese on top. And I'm thinking I'm going to regret that in about 2 hours. And so then I got to thinking about a corn dog on top of the chili. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to be, by 9 o'clock tonight, I'm going to have to go home. Or we'll have to extend the breaks at the top of the hour to about 15 minutes while I, go do my duty. And then I thought about you, and I thought, no, if I give Angie a corn dog, she'll eat it, and then I'll never hear the end of it.
Yes.
You would have bitched about it the rest of the night.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no. Give me like an hour, and then I would start bitching
No,
about
that's what I mean. You would have eaten you would have been like, oh, corn dog. And you'd have been like really cool about it. Like, I'm not going to act like I'm really excited. You'd have been really cool, and you would have waited till the show started. And then you would have been back there hiding behind the computer like you always do. And you'd be opening the mustard packets like crazy, squirting the mustard all over the corn dog, shoving it down your throat. And then again, about 8:30, 9 o'clock, then you'd start the bitching. Right?
Yeah, because then I'd want to just curl up in a ball back there and cry.
This assault caught on video. And
my grandson and I still laugh about this. So we were at a wedding in Des Moines, Iowa. Don't ask why. In the middle of the summer. And the humidity's like 1,000%. And the wedding dinner kind of sucks. And so I look at my grandson. He looks at me, and I'm like, Taco Bell? He's like, yeah, let's go. He calls me Grandpoo. Let's go, Grandpoo. So I get a fuffle, and I turned around, and it looked like MS-13 had come in to order Taco Bell. So I told my grandson, switch places. What, Grandpoo? Well, just switch places. And as we were getting up, and then he sat back down, and he goes, do you think we need to leave? A burrito supreme without sour cream. With crap.
Center City. The fists were flying between a customer and employees outside the Taco Bell location at 10th and Chestnut. Action News reporter Catherine Scott is live where it happened.
You see, they had to send the Action News reporter. They couldn't send like the investigative reporter. They couldn't send like the police beat reporter. They had to send the Action News reporter.
Catherine, I almost don't know what to say on this one.
Well, after that 3 seconds of silence, I guess she didn't know what to say either.
I know it's a tough one, Tam, and you'll hear from the man in the video in just a few moments, but he said that he waited about a week to release the video because he wanted to give Taco Bell a chance in the evening. Brian Reese of Northern Liberties is the one in blue on the ground. His girlfriend is in olive green.
Pull out her camera, and she's going to video. She's going to video us getting this. Well, duh, I know.
The store was full of people, mad about the wait for tacos, and that the employees didn't appear to be working hard. And he says they were telling customers.
Now, that's irritating. Because you expect, when you go to the Taco Bell, and they're making $35 an hour, you expect service. Right? Right. Because doesn't Taco Bell pay? Well, surely they pay at least $30, $35 an hour.
They were inundated by Grubhub orders, which took precedence over the people in the store.
Lesson right there. You want fast Taco Bell service? Grubhub. Don't go stand in line because you go to the back of the line.
Reese says they seemed to snap, and suddenly 3 employees jumped over the counter in what Reese calls an unprovoked attack.
I'd love to watch that. I'd love to just be sitting there eating my Taco Bell and Nachos Bel Grande or whatever they are. Like to just be sitting there, like, you know, dipping a little, you know, a little chip into some beans or something and watch the employees jump over the counter. Because, well, this might be kind of crude. But, you know, a lot of Taco Bell employees, I'm not really sure they could jump over the counter. That's just an observation. It's not a judgment, it's just an observation. I just don't know that a lot of Taco Bell employees could actually jump over the counter, which would make it even more interesting.
I backed out of the store. They continued to follow me. They put me on the ground, and I don't really remember too much else except for when I got up, my girlfriend was on the ground being beat too. She wasn't even in the store at the time.
So Taco Bell released a statement saying, "We're shocked and disappointed to see this situation. We and our franchisees do not tolerate this behavior."
They have to announce that they don't tolerate their employees beating up the customers. You would think, I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud here, you would think that would go without saying. That, you know, maybe that's part of the mission statement of Taco Bell. You know, we strive to not beat up our customers, number one. And then we strive to make certain that you get enough of that fake cheese sauce on your chips. And we strive to make sure that, and why do you Angie, when you go to Taco Bell, do you always ask them to leave the sour cream off, or do you eat the sour cream?
I'll eat it.
I think sour cream is sacrilegious. I think
Why?
I just think sour cream is wrong. Sour cream is just wrong.
The franchisee who owns and operates this location is retraining its staff, and all team members involved here have been terminated. So again, they are pressing charges.
So you need to go to that Taco Bell because everybody's new, and you won't get beat up for at least, what do you think, maybe a week or two? Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, they crack me up, right? Because they know if you're going to eat there, you're going to eat there, right? Nobody's on the fence about Taco Bell. Nobody's like, well, let's just wait and see what the next commercial looks like. You know if you're going to go back or not. And Taco Bell knows that. That's why they can put out a product that has the exact same ingredients as 3 other products on their current menu. They just change the name and or shape of it and will make you feel dumb for asking about it. They're like, what we have for the spring, this is seasoned steak, lettuce, cheese, tomato, and sour cream encased in a flour tortilla. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, that sounds like a steak burrito. Well, it's not. Okay. A steak burrito is rolled up, okay? With this, we fold the sides in, we press it with a t-shirt iron. I don't know what's so hard to understand about the technology we've invested in the Crunch Wrap. That's what we're calling it. It's a Crunch Wrap. Their desserts, they don't even try with their desserts. They just take some other dessert you're kind of familiar with and change it a little bit, you know? We have Cinnabon Bites. Isn't that just a cut up Cinnabon? I mean, yeah, but we cut it up for you, okay? You could say gracias. We took the time to put it into this drink cup that was already sitting right here. And how much of the lifting do we have to do?
Oh, the Democratic National Committee has made one thing very clear. They do not want Fox News involved in their primary debates. According to Tom Perez, the former labor chief and all, you know, it's funny, we're all shocked about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We're all shocked about Bernie Sanders. Do you understand that Tom Perez is another self-avowed socialist? Has been forever. He's a labor union guy. Anyway, he said that Fox News is unable to host a fair and neutral debate for the Democratic candidates. He said, I believe that a key pathway to victory is to continue to expand our electorate and reach all voters. Well, you just disenfranchised all of the people that watch Fox. Don't you want to, because, just saying, Fox is the #1 cable. What's Gordon Ramsay doing? Oh, he's teaching people at Taco Bell. That's what he's doing. Tom Perez says that he believes that a key pathway to victory is to continue to expand our electorate and reach all voters. That's why I have made it a priority to talk to a broad array of potential media partners, including Fox News. Recent reporting in The New Yorker on the inappropriate relationship between President Trump, his administration, and Fox News has led me to conclude that the network is not in a position to host a fair and neutral debate for our candidates. Therefore, Fox News will not serve as a media partner for the 2020 Democratic primary debates. Now, what he didn't anticipate, however, is, and this is so typical, you would think in this bizarro world that we live in now, you would anticipate that if you diss the president's favorite television cable channel, that he's going to have a reaction. And he did. Tweeting out at 5:05 this afternoon, Democrats just blocked Fox News from holding a debate. Good. Then I think I'll do the same thing with the fake news networks and the radical left Democrats in the general election debates. Oh, I don't think Perez anticipated that Trump would react to the news that way. You could have seen that one coming from 20 miles away. Trump is reminding Perez of one thing. In order for a general election debate to take place, the president has to be on the stage. And the president's announcing that he's going to refuse to cooperate as long as Fox News is left out of the picture. So I guess the Democrats will just have their own debates and they'll have an empty chair there, and the president will have a debate and he'll have an empty chair there. And then what we'll do is, through the magic of technology, we'll just splice those two things together, and that's how we'll get a presidential debate. I swear, this country is just stupid. We're just losing our ever-loving mind. So Amazon wins a carve-out. Remember when I told you, this has been maybe a month ago, that Philadelphia and a bunch of other places are enacting municipal ordinances trying to force people to go cashless? Well, in an example of the power of big tech, as Philadelphia moved to ban cashless stores, Amazon went to work and won a carve-out that makes an exception for its Go stores, but still outlaws all the competition. The loophole they got permits stores based on membership, like Costco, to go ahead with cashless. Now, here's what I find fascinating about this whole cashless idea. I know that Philadelphia thinks that what they're doing is that somehow they're making the world safer from people that don't use the banking system. But doesn't that contradict the claim that requiring a picture ID to vote is racist? Because the city of Philadelphia is moving to ban almost all stores and businesses that don't accept cash as a method of payment. So if you don't have a picture ID, how do you get the cash? Think about this. Now, forget about voting for a second, because voting, apparently, you don't need, we're going to allow, in fact, I got a story somewhere here that people want to allow in Germany. They want to lower the voting age to 16 years old. Now, 16, all I can speak as, I can only speak as a former 16-year-old boy. You only have one thing on your mind as a 16-year-old boy, and it's all driven by the hormones that are raging through your body. Yep. You'll tackle anything that's moving. So forget about voting for a second. If you work, don't you have to have a picture ID to get the job? To get a paycheck, and you want to cash it at Walmart, don't you need to have a picture ID? In fact, if you want to take a check into a bank, let's say that you work for a company that actually refuses to pay you in cash. They want to pay you in check because they want to do the withholding. They want to do everything legal. So they insist that you take a check. You want to take the check to the bank because you don't have a bank account. So you take the check to the bank where the company that you work for banks, because that way, you can cash the check there. They're going to require a picture ID to make sure that the person to whom the check is made out is actually you, and that you are authorized to endorse and cash the check. I don't know. Sometimes I just think about those things and I wonder, even opening a checking account, or using an ATM for cash. Picture ID to open the account. You know, the only people who wouldn't need absolutely a picture ID are those who would be paying with their EBT cards. Now, of course, even those people, if they're also on Medicaid, picture ID. So I don't know why we have this thing about, and besides, forcing people to accept only cash or no cash or cashless or what, back off. Let people choose to do what they want to do. What a radical idea. People making their own choices. You're listening to Michael Brown on KOA News Radio, 850 AM, 94.1 FM, and eating corn dogs at the Michael Brown Show page at KOANewsRadio.com.
Tomorrow on Colorado's Morning News,
we take a look at Hickenlooper's run for the White House
as he celebrates his decision with Colorado.
And he worked on Alex Honnold's legendary climb up El Capitan.
Mark Sinott joins us at 8:40 on KOA News Radio.
I should have had Done Right do it. Don't be that person that says this after ordering your remodeling project. Right, Dad?
You've got that right, Todd. Hi, folks. Dan Cicchini, owner of Done Right Kitchens and Baths, Windows and Doors. Simply put, we make people happy. Ever since the 80s, we've proven ourselves by being picky. Tell the folks, Todd.
Well, there's only one way we'll resurface cabinets. 1/4 inch, glued and nailed. Replacement kitchens, only custom-built cabinets by our own people for a fabulous look. Bathrooms, you can count on the tried-and-true Done Right bathroom renovation system. And windows and entry doors? Dad, how about your 2 cents worth?
Well, it starts with a quality window or door, yes, but I'm here to tell you that preparation, installation, and finish are exactly why they'll be able to join those that say, Done Right, did right by me. So folks, whether it's kitchens, baths, counters, or floors, or even replacement windows and doors, as always, you have our word. We'll treat you right at Done Right. 303-722-2295, 800-362-8370, or drhi.com.
Springtime is the time to buy a new Polaris. Right now, the world's best-selling off-road lineup is priced to move. Get more done with a hardworking Ranger. Chase adventure on a legendary Sportsman. Or live wide open in a high-performance RZR. Rebates go as high as $1,500 during the Polaris Spring Sales Event. Offers valid in U.S. through 4/30/19, subject to credit approval. Rebates and financing vary by model and year. See dealer for details. Always wear a helmet, never drink and ride.
You didn't file your taxes last year, and the IRS didn't say anything. The fact is, you haven't filed income taxes for several years, and you figure it's too late. It'll cost too much, and there's no way you're going to figure it out. But there's still that knot in your stomach, knowing it's just not right. The bad news is, right now, you're a fugitive from the IRS. The worst news is, if they catch you, it's 1 year in jail for every year you haven't filed. I'm Jack McDonough, founder of Blackfin IRS Solutions. The good news is, the instant we file your back taxes, you go from being a fugitive to just owing money. And then, Blackfin can negotiate with the IRS for you. I can help you because I've been there. The sooner you call Blackfin about filing your back taxes, the sooner you'll get a good night's sleep.
Get caught up on your unfiled income taxes. Call Blackfin IRS Solutions. Online at blackfinirs.com. For your free in-person consultation, call 303-904-1450, 303-904-1450, or blackfinirs.com.
PatriotSoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
Patriot's cloud-based accounting software is easy for business owners, yet powerful enough for accountants.
PatriotSoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
Pat Woodard here with Hanson McLean's Scott Hanson. Scott, I've read that couples face 81 different combinations when applying for Social Security. Is that really true?
Well, it is, Pat. I mean, it sounds crazy, right? But when I first started roughly 25 years ago, Social Security was pretty straightforward. But today, there's just so many different options that it's when and how you could apply could be worth tens of thousands of dollars in retirement income.
So I'm guessing your advisors get a lot of questions about Social Security.
Well, it's probably one of the top questions that we get. We've built an entire live workshop series designed to answer the most common questions about Social Security.
And these workshops are coming up soon, right?
Yeah, we have free Social Security workshops the week of March 12th in the Denver Tech Center, Broomfield, Lakewood, and Highlands Ranch. Now, they're highly educational events that teach people who've been saving for retirement things like how to calculate their benefits, blending 401k income, how to maximize spousal benefits, and more.
Where do people sign up?
Well, they can register for free at hansonmclain.com, but be warned, this workshop topic fills up quickly.
You heard him, Denver. Sign up today at hansonmclain.com.
KOA News Radio time is 7:30. Emotional testimony during a public hearing continues on the death penalty before the State Senate Judiciary Committee at the state capitol. The committee is considering a bill that would do away with the death penalty in our state. Marcia Field's brother was murdered. His killer, Sir Mario Owens, currently sits on Colorado's death row. Fields testified before lawmakers today that killers on death row are not there because of their race.
The one thing they have in common is the ability to take multiple lives at one time with no shame.
Opponents say the death penalty is an outdated and arbitrary form of punishment. Former Governor Hickenlooper is rolling out his presidential campaign with a planned Thursday night event in Denver's Civic Center Park. In Denver, he answered reporter questions on everything from beer to pot.
The federal government should reclassify marijuana so it's not a Schedule I narcotic. That's at the root of many of the problems. Make sure that we can, that people in the marijuana industry, whether it's medical or recreational adult use, that those businesses don't have to do everything in cash.
Hickenlooper says he's the candidate in the race who can get things done. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek revealed some troubling personal health news today.
Just like 50,000 other people in the United States each year, this week I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Trebek is vowing to fight the disease and be one of the few who survive. He made an announcement in a YouTube video today. Trebek is 78 years of age and has been hosting Jeopardy for 35 years. Our next news update is at 8 o'clock. I'm Roger Hudson on KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
Things settling very nicely around the metro area. Westbound I-70 still slow through that construction area, I should say, on the elevated portion, but the rest is loosening nicely. I-25 is excellent both ways across town. No problems on 225, C470, and 6th Avenue. Off freeway, accidents working at Colorado and Iowa, and at the intersection of 6th and Havana. CBS 4 weather. Tonight, chance of snow or rain-snow mix, low of 23. Tomorrow, sunny, high of 52. Currently 34 degrees. This report is sponsored by Westera Credit Union. Do you have questions about mortgages and you're not sure where to start? There are free home buying seminars at Westera Credit Union where you can ask your questions to local people you can trust. Check the full seminar schedule at westeracu.com. I'm Darren Copeland with KOA News Radio, Colorado's news, traffic, and weather station.
You know, if you're a business and not getting leads and traffic through your website, maybe your company has a lousy rank in Google, I want you to call the digital marketing experts that I'm using to build my new website, Get Found Fast. They've been helping businesses develop internet strategies to generate leads for more than 12 years now. They do SEO, social media, reputation management, and they do awesome state-of-the-art websites like they're doing for me. Let Get Found Fast do a free analysis of your website and your online presence. It only takes 10 minutes, and they can do it by phone. Go to getfoundfast.com. Getfoundfast.com.
Guys, get your sex life back. ThriveMD in Lone Tree has GainsWave, a revolutionary medical treatment for ED. GainsWave is painless. No shots, no pills. Visit GainsWaveDenver.com or call 720-575-7878.
I've bought more guns at one place than any other place in my life, and that's at Gunsport in Boulder. You'll find Gunsport at 14th and Arapahoe in Boulder. Easy drive. Go up and visit the guys and tell them Michael Brown sent you. Gunsport at 14th and Arapahoe or online, gunsport.us.
If you're not making $5,000 to $10,000 a month at your current job, then maybe it's time to start flipping properties for some quick cash. If you like the sound of that, you're in luck. Over the last 5 years, the NVREA team has been perfecting the art of flipping properties for cash without the added risk of using your own money or credit. Call now and they'll send you a free copy of their DVD, Hidden Treasures in Wholesale Flipping. On this DVD, you'll see their easy wholesale flipping strategy for locating, evaluating, and flipping a property for profit in your area. Plus, learn how you can access highly discounted properties and the right funding partners for that perfect wholesale flip. Call 1-800-614-2196 now to get your free wholesale flipping DVD. Call 800-614-2196 and they'll also throw in free tickets to an information-packed live flipping training class, which includes a free smartwatch just for attending. Call 800-614-2196. That's 800-614-2196 to get your free flipping DVD now. Brought to you by NVREA.
The iHeartRadio Music Awards. One night where we celebrate the artists you thumb up year-round on the iHeartRadio app.
Y'all having fun yet?
And we want you to experience the awards just like the artists. We'll fly you to LA. You'll walk the red carpet and experience the iHeartRadio Music Awards VIP with front row seats. Open the iHeartRadio app and listen to the iHeartRadio Music Awards station, and you're automatically entered to join us and get some of the best IG photos of your life.
iHeartRadio.
Your music, your stations, your podcasts, all free.
Connect with Michael Brown. Find him on social media through KOANewsRadio.com.
Well, we have a little nullification going on in Colorado, and I'm kind of excited about it. I'm excited about it, one, because I think it's an issue that needs to be pushed back on. And two, I just like I like to see intergovernmental spats. I like to see when federal and state governments argue with each other, and I like to see when local and state governments argue with each other. I like to see when county and municipal governments and county and state governments argue with each other, because I think that's healthy for a republic, to have a debate about what power do certain levels of government have over other levels of government. And, hang on a second, I should have done this earlier. And we just need to permanently put the Constitution over here on I need a little bookshelf thing right here. And then just tell all these other Yahoo talk show hosts to leave my Constitution alone. So in the United States Constitution, there is an amendment called number 2. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. And that's causing a kerfuffle in Colorado, and I'm kind of excited about it. It's actually also causing a kerfuffle in New Mexico, because New Mexico, you know how we tend to do what California does? Well, New Mexico tends to do what Colorado does. So you might say that other than getting over the Continental Divide, that feces tends to run downhill. So it kind of runs, down out. Well, just think about this. It kind of runs down through Sacramento. It goes through San Francisco. And as it hits San Francisco, it picks up needles and human feces, and then it continues on down to Los Angeles, where it goes through the homeless camps in south central Los Angeles and just south of downtown, and then it hits the river, and it kind of goes on around, and it kind of skirts San Diego, and then it kind of winds its way through Maricopa County, through Phoenix, and then it kind of works its way back up. Here's what's kind of interesting, because it comes back up to Denver first. So it's all this feces is just kind of, balling up. You've heard of the big balls in the sewer system that clog everything up. Well, this is a big ball of crap that starts in Sacramento, makes its way through San Francisco, Los Angeles, Phoenix, and then kind of in a defiance of physics, it comes back north to Denver, and then it goes down south to Santa Fe. And it's beginning to seep in a little bit into Texas. I think so far Kansas not so much. It's seeping into Kansas a little bit. Oklahoma still has it's kind of got its barricades up, so it hasn't really seeped into Oklahoma yet. But this kind of progressive liberal do-gooder crapism is really starting to permeate everywhere. And it really, when I say that it's hit Colorado from California and now it's going to New Mexico, I'm not kidding. It really is. I was telling somebody earlier that what's happening in Colorado with respect to the red flag bill, the same crap's going on in New Mexico. Well, Weld County has put out a press release dated today, and I want to go through it. I haven't talked much about the red flag bill simply because, well, the Democrats are going to do what they're going to do. You can't stop it, so why waste your time on it? Wait until they do it, and then we can blast Polis, and then we can start recalling legislators for passing this stuff, just like when they passed the gun bills. The Weld County commissioners put out this press release today. Today, the Weld County Board of Commissioners joined a growing number of Colorado counties declaring themselves a Second Amendment sanctuary county. Several comments here. I love the terminology. Sanctuary county. A little play on words there. Because when you think of a sanctuary state, you think of a sanctuary county, you think of sanctuary city, you think of a place where MS-13 just breeds and breeds and just metastasizes and pretty soon takes over everything, and then that community dies. This case, though, it's a sanctuary for the Second Amendment. Now, you would think that you wouldn't need a sanctuary for something that is enshrined in the Constitution, has been deemed by the Supreme Court to be an individual liberty. In the Heller case, it was made abundantly clear. Justice Scalia and all the joining justices made clear that the right to keep and bear arms is an individual right. It's not a collective right. It's not some group right. It's a right that you have and that I have. Back to the resolution, or at least the press release. This resolution comes in response to House Bill 191177, or the Red Flag Bill, which allows family members, household members, that means, like, occasionally we'll have friends come over and stay with us. Never again. I can never again allow anybody, in fact, just me and Tamara. And Tamara's questionable. I can't allow any friends anymore to stay at my house. So Lester, I'm looking at you. Marty and Carol, I'm looking at you. Dennis and Joni, I'm looking at you. Sue and Jeff, looking at you. Any of you people that think you're going to come and spend the night in my house and then become a household member under the statute and take my guns away, you got another thing coming. The resolution comes in response to House Bill 19-1177, or the Red Flag Bill, which allows family members, household members, or law enforcement to petition a judge to remove firearms from an individual they deem dangerous to themselves or others. Commissioner Chair Barbara Kirkmeyer says, the issue isn't an issue of safety as much as it is an issue of protecting the constitutional rights of citizens. I got to say something right here. I don't know Barbara Kirkmeyer, and I don't know whether Barbara Kirkmeyer, as chairman of the Weld County Commissioners, had a public relations firm, a law firm, or who? Maybe she wrote that sentence herself. Do you know that that single sentence right there sums up what most Americans don't understand, but should? The issue, she said, is not an issue of safety as much as it is an issue of protecting the constitutional rights of citizens. In fact, let me just, where's my cursor? Boom, boom, boom. Presidential. Here we go. The oath that the President of the United States takes. How many times you hear the President say about, he takes an oath of office. He takes an oath to protect us. No, actually, you don't take an oath to protect us. The Constitution says as follows. Before he enter on, and of course I'm sure the feminists are all upset, but he actually includes the she. And I suppose nowadays it also includes the, what is it, Angie? The she, the he, the z, Z, right?
Yeah.
He, she, Z. He, she, Z. I got a he, she, Z right over here. I'm going to have it removed next week, I think. Before he enter on the execution of his office, he shall take the following oath or affirmation, quote, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. That's the oath the President takes. It is not an oath that says, I'm going, now he has, as part of his job description, to defend this country. But his oath is to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. What Barbara Kirkmeyer doesn't understand, well, I'm sure she does, I didn't mean to say it that way. What Barbara Kirkmeyer may not realize what she has said is she has pointed out something that I think is sorely missing in this country, and that is an understanding that it is the Constitution that actually makes us safe. I have an individual right to exercise my religion as I see fit. I have the right to peaceably assemble. I have the right to petition my government when I think they're a bunch of dumbasses, which if I were a good citizen and I was petitioning my government every time I thought they were performing as dumbasses, well, I wouldn't have time for this radio program. I would just be petitioning the government 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I have the right to keep and bear arms. We do taxpayer relief shots, not because we like to hear that some thug died at the hands of a private citizen, but we like to celebrate that the private citizen is able in this country to defend themselves. Freedom is messy. Freedom is chaotic. And sometimes bad things happen to good people. Sometimes bad things happen to bad people. Sometimes good things happen to good people, and sometimes good things happen to bad people too. But that's for another study. That's for a book that somebody's already written. Per the resolution, the Weld County Commissioners affirmed their, quote, support for the Weld County Sheriff in the exercise of his sound discretion to not enforce against any citizen any unconstitutional firearms law. Well, hallelujah and amen. When we are elected into office, we take an oath in front of a judge to support the Constitution of the United States, said Commissioner Pro Tem Mike Freeman. And that's exactly what this resolution says we will do. Case after case has affirmed the Second Amendment of the Constitution, said Commissioner Scott James. Taking constitutional rights away from citizens under the guise that it is for the greater good is a very dangerous path to walk down, and one that we do not support. I do not personally know any of these commissioners, but I got to tell you, you guys are doing yeoman's work up there. Similar to the other Colorado County resolutions, the Weld County resolution states the Board of Commissioners, quote, will not appropriate government funds for capital construction of building space and purchase of storage systems to store weapons seized pursuant to the authority and requirements set forth in House Bill 1911-77, if such bill is enacted by the Colorado General Assembly, and or for the purpose of enforcing any other law that unconstitutionally infringes upon the right of the people of Weld County to keep and bear arms. Commissioner Sean Conway says, the principle of due process is at the very core of this issue. What this bill does is create a system where a person must prove their innocence against an action that hasn't even been taken. Civil asset forfeiture based on somebody else. Look, if this bill passes, and I'm not joking now. You may think this is hyperbole, but I think under the terms of the legislation that the Colorado legislature is considering, any of my friends could go to a court of competent jurisdiction, and I don't mean competent in the sense that they know what they're doing, a court that has jurisdiction. And under this bill, that's wide open as the Great Plains. I'm not quite sure who has jurisdiction. Because if I reside, say, in Douglas County, but I have weapons in, let's just say Bernalillo County in New Mexico. You thought I was going to give you the real county. No, of course, I'm not that stupid. So I've got weapons in Bernalillo County, New Mexico. You're going to take possession of those weapons in another state? What if I have firearms in my mom's house? What if I keep firearms? What if I have, dear Lord, I hope I've never done this because this might be a violation of the law. What if I've loaned or given my grandson, oh, Michael, how could you do that? Or my son, or my daughter, or my son-in-law, my daughter-in-law, any of my firearms? What if Angie asked me one night, hey, Doofus, which is exactly how she would say it, hey, Doofus, can I borrow one of your guns? I'd probably loan it to her. And then one of my guns would be in her possession. This bill is nothing more than a feel-good measure that will not stop the actions it is aiming to prevent, said Commissioner Steve Marino. There are other solutions that must be seriously considered when talking about mental health issue in this country. This bill is not it. It isn't it. Here's what's happening. Equipment's falling apart in here. We're kind of reaching a stage where everybody has decided that they're willing to give up not just a little bit of freedom, but a lot of freedom and a lot of liberty in exchange for a bunch of hocus-pocus faux security. Every piece of legislation that I hear, that I read about all over the country, that talks about, well, we got to keep the guns out of the hands of crazy people, or the guns out of hands of people that might threaten to harm themselves. And then I read about the levels of depression in this country, or the number of people that take antidepressants but are perfectly functional. Are we going to now extend civil asset forfeiture or something similar to guns? We already have probably the most unconstitutional, the most anti-liberty freedom, the most anti-due process, the most anti-Fourth Amendment organization in this country, and that's the Internal Revenue Service. Where, as it's been, we're coming up on tax time, where it has been shown that if you put the exact case, the same numbers, the same information in front of 50 CPAs, you will get 50 different tax returns. Yet, if the IRS decides to audit you, the burden of proof shifts not from the government, but to you. We have a standard in this country. You're innocent until you're proven guilty. We have due process rights. You can't have your life, your liberty, you can't have your property, you can't have your things seized, your papers seized, without due process of law. But everywhere I turn, there are people, and there may be people in this audience who think the same way, who would rather at least think to themselves, completely false in my opinion, that somehow they're safer. That if we just let the government do X, Y, or Z, or if we just give judges the power to do X, Y, or Z, or if we just let individuals go to a judge, or go to a prosecutor, or go to, who the hell are they going to? I don't know. Go to anybody and say, we think that Michael Brown's kind of bat-crap crazy. In fact, we heard that Michael Brown might be taking an antidepressant. In fact, you've heard me joke on air, but I do. I take a lot of sleep medication. I can't turn my brain off at night. My brain just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And I know people have suggested meditation, they've suggested yoga, they've suggested any number of things. And my doctors have all just laughed at me, like, sure, you can go try it. But you have a type A brain that you can't turn off. And I can't. The harder I try to turn it off, the wilder it goes. So the fact that I have to take sleep medication, that might be an indication that there's something just a little off about me. And in fact, listening to this radio program, I bet some of you, shouldn't say this in front of Angie, they could probably find enough things that I've said that's just whack enough that they could go to a judge and say, listen to what he said on such and such night between the hour of 8 and 9 o'clock. Yeah, he's whacked. We need a restraining order. We need to take his guns away. Yeah, that'll be the day. You're listening to Michael Brown on KOA News Radio, 850 AM, 94.1 FM, and always on the Michael Brown Show page at KOANewsRadio.com, or follow me on Twitter at Michael Brown USA, or follow me on Facebook, Facebook.com/Michael D. Brown.
Mandy Connell here. Big day. We've got Congressman Ken Buck at 1:30, and then CU visiting conservative scholar Stephen Presser back to talk religious freedom and what that means in the Constitution. That and more starting tomorrow at 1 on KOA News Radio.
Right now, save big and transform your home with Champion's Home Makeover Sale. Save 40% on Champion windows. Every Champion custom-made window is backed by their exclusive limited lifetime warranty. If it breaks, they fix it for as long as you own your home. And they're factory direct, so there's no middleman and no markup. Hi, this is Dave Logan, and Champion is the only window company that I personally endorse. And right now, you can save 40% on windows and 35% on sunrooms and siding when you participate in the Champion Yes program. Plus, 12 months, no interest, no payments. But hurry, time is running out. Schedule your free in-home estimate today online at getchampion.com. 40% off new windows, 35% off new siding and new sunrooms. It's the Transform Your Home sale. Book your appointment online at getchampion.com. That's getchampion.com.
The Champion limited lifetime warranty applies to Comfort 365 windows as long as the original purchaser owns the home. Subject to qualifying credit approval, minimum purchase required. All discounts apply to our regular prices. Cannot be combined with other advertisers' offers. See store or website for details.
What would it take for you to get a tattoo you didn't want? $1 million? How about 1 million socks? I'm Randy from Bombas. When me and my business partner Dave,
how's it going?
Quit our jobs to start a sock company,
Bombas,
we wanted to make the best socks in the history of feet. No more annoying seam, no more falling down your leg, added arch support.
You get the idea.
And what's better than creating the best socks in the history of feet?
Sharing them.
This is what we do. 1 pair purchased equals 1 pair donated to those in need. Our dream was always to donate 1 million pairs. We thought it would take 10 years. That's why Dave said,
when we donate 1 million pairs of socks, I'll get a tattoo to celebrate.
But then something happened. People loved our socks, and instead of 10 years, it only took 2.5. 1 million pairs.
And 1 Bombas tattoo on my arm.
Feel the most comfortable socks in the history of feet by going to bombas.com/KOA and get 20% off your first order. That's BOMBAS.com/KOA.
Attention! If you're in debt to the IRS and frustrated with your options, for a limited time you can call and quickly check your eligibility for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problem. Through this special toll-free hotline number, you can find out in minutes if you qualify for these powerful new debt reduction programs green-lighted by the IRS for 2019. If you have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or just want to know your options, business or personal, Republic Tax Relief's A+ rated tax relief system has helped thousands stop IRS collections immediately and saved millions in tax debt. These relief programs will not last forever. Call the hotline number now, 800-406-1794. That's 800-406-1794. Check your eligibility for tax debt savings today. Call 800-406-1794. That's 800-406-1794.
I've bought more guns at one place than any other place in my life, and that's at Gunsport in Boulder. You'll find Gunsport at 14th and Arapahoe in Boulder. Easy drive. Go up and visit the guys and tell them Michael Brown sent you. Gunsport at 14th and Arapahoe, or online, gunsport.us.
Ron Burgundy Podcast. The Ron Burgundy Podcast. Already one of the most listened to podcasts in the world. There's a new episode available now. Listen or download on the free iHeartRadio app.
Meet Jerry.
I could wake the dead with my snoring.
Jerry suffers from sleep apnea.
I really didn't know what I was going to do.
He was desperate for a solution as CPAP wasn't working for him.
If we couldn't find a solution, I would be done. I'd have to find a new career. And at 50 years old, thinking, God, I got to start all over again.
That's when Jerry discovered Inspire, a sleep apnea solution and alternative to CPAP. How are things now?
There's just no feeling like it.
To learn how you can treat sleep apnea without a mask and review important safety information, visit InspireSleep.com. Patient testimonials are genuine and typical. However, results may vary.
KBCO HD3 Boulder. This is an iHeart radio station.
KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM. The 50,000-watt blowtorch of the Rocky Mountain West.
KOA News Radio time is 8 o'clock. I'm Roger Hudson. Our top story, a handful of Colorado counties passing a resolution to bypass an expected gun law. We have details, but first, traffic and weather together. Here's Darren Copeland.
Well, it's only construction that's going to slow you down the highways right now. Westbound I-70 going to be slow through that construction area, the elevated portion. Everything else is loosening up nicely and going at the posted speeds. I-25 is excellent across town in both directions. Off freeway, we have another matter. A bunch of accidents, Colorado and Iowa. That one involving a pedestrian. And at the intersection of 6th Avenue and Havana, roads have been reopened after a serious accident. I'm Darren Copeland with KOA News Radio, Colorado's news, traffic, and weather station.
Late rain snow mix here possible in Denver. We're not looking at much accumulation. There's enough to get the roads a little wet and slick for the morning commute. So just watch out for that in the morning. Temperatures tonight 23. Tomorrow, let the warm-up begin. 52 degrees, mostly sunny skies. We will still be in the 50s again on Friday. From CBS 4, I'm meteorologist Lauren Whitney on KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
Partly cloudy and 35 degrees. Well, county commissioners unanimously passed a resolution today to become a so-called Second Amendment sanctuary county, and now join a group of growing Colorado counties that have adopted a policy to oppose a red flag bill at the state capitol. Under the resolution, commissioners would simply not fund a storage facility for weapons seized by law enforcement. Additionally, the county would support Sheriff Steve Remus if he decides not to enforce the bill if it becomes a law. A so-called red flag bill, if you didn't know, would allow family members or law enforcement to petition a judge to remove firearms from someone who is deemed dangerous to themselves or to others. A bill that would do away with the death penalty in Colorado is before the State Senate Judiciary Committee. Supporters of the bill say it is used unfairly and is inhumane, but El Paso County DA Dan May told the senators earlier today that this is an issue that should go to the people.
Consistently since 2013, I recall Pete Weir asking you to put this to a vote of the people, to not have it be elitists, quite frankly, that may decide what the people of Colorado want.
Governor Jared Polis has said that if the Colorado legislature does pass the bill to end the death penalty in our state, he will sign the bill and then commute the death sentences of all three men currently sitting on our state's death row. Arizona Republican Senator Martha McSally saying today that she was sexually assaulted while she served in our military.
I was preyed upon and then raped by a superior officer. The perpetrators abused their position of power in profound ways.
During a Senate Armed Services Subcommittee hearing on sexual assault in the military, McSally said that she was raped while in the Air Force. McSally says that she was the first, well, obviously, we know this. McSally was the first female fighter pilot to fly in combat. She started to choke up when she recalled the attack, which almost caused her to quit the service. McSally said that she wanted to come forward with the just a terrific, horrific story because she wanted to speak honestly about what happened to her. This afternoon, former Governor Hickenlooper meeting with the media where it all began for him in Denver as he begins his campaign for president.
Speaking at the place where he started his brewery empire, the governor fielded questions on a variety of topics, everything from climate change to marijuana policy to immigration. The governor repeating a theme that he's been using as he goes about the country, that he's the person who can bring sides together on contentious issues to actually get things done, something he says is much needed in Washington. At the Wynkoop Brewing Company, Jerry Bell, KOA News Radio.
Not a big surprise for us here in Colorado. Pot, big dollars. In the United States, 46 states currently have some sort of cannabis use. Research data compiled by Markets and Markets shows that the global cannabis market is expected to grow from $10.3 billion in 2018 to more than $39 billion by 2023. Our next news update at 8:30. I'm Roger Hudson, KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
Hey, it's Susie Wargin with some big news from my friends at Renters Warehouse. They've acquired one of America's leading online real estate investment marketplaces and have now become the nation's leading real estate investment services company. What does this mean for you? It means Renters Warehouse is now your one-stop shop to research, buy, lease, manage, and sell single-family rental properties. Seriously, it's like you have stocks and bonds, except they're rental homes. Whether you're looking for 20 properties or just one, Renters Warehouse gives you the tools you need. Find great properties and great tenants, collect the rent, manage the maintenance, view stock-like analytics, and track your portfolio. With Renters Warehouse, you can easily do it all from the comfort of your own home. Heck, you can even do it from your phone. And your properties don't have to be local. They can be anywhere in the country. When it comes to unlocking the investment power of rental homes, Renters Warehouse is leveling the playing field. They have the network, knowledge, and technology to make you a rent estate mogul virtually overnight. It all starts by visiting renterswarehouse.com today. Renters Warehouse. List, rent, manage, all under one roof.
Tonight, Michael Brown joins me here.
This is the former FEMA director.
Talk show host Michael Brown.
Brownie. Now.
Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job.
It's a heck of a show with Michael Brown.
You're on the radio.
On KOA News Radio.
You know, the full extent of just how stupid our policy is on illegal aliens that are flooding across the border in record numbers now can be found on the front page of Monday's Washington Post. A friend of mine that works in D.C. sent me a link to the story, and I hadn't read it. I'm not actually sure the paper meant to make the point that it made, but the story headlined this: fearing MS-13, police officers flee El Salvador. The story starts out with this: with salaries of $300 to $400 a month, the low-level police officers who make up the majority of the force often have no choice but to live in neighborhoods vulnerable to gangs. And so, in the vast majority of the cases, police officers are killed when they are home from work or are on leave. That's the culture of MS-13. And those are the people being dumped in the United States by way of our current open border policy. Remember when Donald Trump was having a conversation with a woman whose son or daughter had been killed by MS-13, and he talked about how they were animals, and all the people's heads exploded. How can you refer to a human being as an animal? Well, if you've ever really read about MS-13 and what they do, you would understand that they are subhuman. They're animals. Is there any redemption available to them? I'm sure there is. But in their present state, as you find them, they're animals. Border agents in the Rio Grande Valley sector of Texas, where there are more illegal alien apprehensions than anywhere else, send out regular notices that MS-13 gang members are coming into the United States. On a regular basis, they put out notices about MS-13 crossing the border. In just this month, Rio Grande City agents working near Roma, Texas, arrested a Salvadoran man after he entered the United States illegally. Record checks revealed he is a Mara Salvucci MS-13 gang member with an extensive criminal history in the state of New York. What's he doing going back and forth? Or this one. Rio Grande Valley sector agents arrested a Mexican man near Edinburgh, Texas. Record checks revealed the man is a member of the MS-13 gang. Or this. Agents patrolling the local ranch lands near Sarita, Texas, arrested 8 illegal aliens. During processing, agents noticed one of the subjects displayed several tattoos affiliated with the MS-13 gang. This one. Rio Grande Valley agents arrested an MS-13 and a Sereno gang member in separate incidents. Weslaco agents working in Hidalgo, Texas, apprehended the Salvadoran man after he entered the United States illegally. During processing, record checks revealed the man is a member of the MS-13 gang. We'll continue. Hey, this is the Washington Post. Agents from the Rio Grande City station arrested 5 illegal aliens. While being processed, record checks for a Salvadoran man revealed that he is an MS-13 gang member. Agents working near Progreso, Texas, arrested 16 illegal aliens after making their illegal entry into the United States. Record checks for a Honduran male reveal that he is a member of the MS-13 gang with a criminal history. He's a special one. He's coming back and forth, and he has a criminal history. But hey, there's no problem. You know, think about that. So in addition to the MS-13 gang members, you got the child molesters, you got the drug dealers, you got the human traffickers that are caught by agents at the border. And more importantly, you have the ones that are not being caught because the agents are being tied up, acting as babysitters instead of border enforcers. I don't think we're ever going to know how many violent MS-13 gang members have just kind of disappeared into the fabric of every state in this union. Once they get into the communities, Denver, Dallas, Houston, Albuquerque, wherever it might be, you know, they just go on and they just infest and ravage schools and neighborhoods. I think back when Tamara and I were both in D.C., at both of the schools that she worked at in Virginia. Even back in 2003, 4, and 5, when she was there, MS-13 gang members were a problem in the high school. And some of the vicious stories that she would come home, or even now, the stories that she tells about families that are threatened by violence from MS-13 gang members in Douglas County, Colorado. But hey, there's nothing to see here. Nothing to worry about. I'm so fed up with the whole illegal immigration issue that I just can't see straight anymore. I'm tired of being told that I'm either a racist or that I'm a xenophobe or that I'm an Islamophobe or that I'm anti-Mexican, or I'm anti-Central American, I'm anti-whatever. I'm not. And I'm tired of being told that. What I'm most tired of, though, is the fact that we have members of both parties who are not willing to make, quite frankly, the easy decisions. I don't want to be told anymore that it's a difficult decision to figure out what to do about illegal immigration. It's not. Now, it might be a difficult political decision to try to figure out what to do with those who are already here. I grant you that that's a difficult political problem. Primarily because you have these dreamers, these DACA kids. You have these kids that were brought here when they had no ability to make the decision on their own. And they've been brought up, for all they knew, just as this is where we live. I get that that's a difficult situation. So box that up, put it over there for a minute. And I know that people say you can't separate these. And I say, actually, the problem is that we conflate all of these into one big giant problem, and everybody keeps telling us that we have to have some sort of comprehensive immigration reform before we can do anything. And I'm like, no, you're actually doing it the wrong way. What are you taught in every management class you ever took? You need to understand what your objective is. You need to have a strategy for that objective. But you also have, every strategy has what? Tactics. You've got to be able to understand. the management books that you'll read about in business school also teach you to do this. You bite off little chunks. You do little pieces at a time. So when you have the problem, let's just think about the phrase, illegal immigration. What should be the first thing that you do? If you're involved in a horrific automobile accident, or you're a victim of a tornado or some sort of natural disaster, and your arm has been almost severed, and you're almost bleeding out, do you want the EMTs to first check your pupils? Do you want them to take your temperature? Or do you want them to stop the flow of blood? You want them to triage you and understand, okay, what is the greatest problem we have first? And when you think about illegal immigration, what's the biggest problem? The biggest problem is that we have people coming across the border illegally. We have people that come here through tourist visas or any other kind of visa, and then they overstay those visas. So if you're going to bite the problem off, again, forget this idea of comprehensive immigration reform. You know what? You know why they keep telling you that we need comprehensive immigration reform? Because Republicans and Democrats know that if they say, oh yeah, I'm all for comprehensive immigration reform, and in fact, I'm introducing legislation to comprehensively deal with all of the problems, they know that that piece of legislation is never going to go anywhere. It'll never even see the light of day in a committee. So that's the easy way out to get your vote when it comes election time. Mark my words. Even though we're already truly in the election season, we're already in the 2020 cycle, as we get closer and they really start pounding the pavement asking you for your vote, listen closely. And you'll hear both Republicans and you'll hear Democrats talk to you about how, oh yeah, you know, Michael, I'm all for comprehensive. We've got to do something. In fact, I've introduced a comprehensive bill to solve all of these problems. Really? Bite my butt. Because you know what? That means you're not going to do squat. Because if you were really concerned about doing something, you would triage this issue of illegal immigration. And you would first stop the flow of blood before we bleed out. You would actually put the tourniquet on. So what is the tourniquet? The tourniquet's quite simple. You build a wall. Now, I know that's a catchphrase, so let's break down what does it mean to build a wall. There are places along the Rio Grande that people cannot cross unless they just happen to have the best rock climbing skills in the country. They're not coming across at that point. So what do you do there? You deploy drones, or you deploy other kinds of technology that might check, okay, we've got some sort of movement here, so maybe we do have a really good rock climber. Let's go look over the ledge and see. And frankly, by the time they start making it up, the wall of some of the canyons along the Rio Grande, you've got time, if you have sufficient number of border agents, to get to that location to see and to deter them and to push them back. It also means you actually build a barrier. It means you build a wall someplace, in some places. It means that you start doing better checks of visa so that, I find this fascinating. You know, if you go to some of the, and Europe's not a good example, you go to some countries in the world that require a visa to enter. The Middle East. The last time I went to the United Arab Emirates, I had to have a visa. Do you think for a second that if I overstayed that visa that they wouldn't be able to track me down? Of course they'd track me down. They'd track me down and boot me out of the country in a New York minute. The same for the Ruskies. The same for the Chinese. All of these countries that require visas, just like we require visas from Russians or Chinese or Yemenis coming here. What we fail to do, though, I find this shows you just how stupid our government is. What we fail to do is to say, okay, you have a visa. It allows you to stay here for, let's say, 90 days. Or hell's bells, let's make it 6 months. You have a 6-month tourist visa. Every 30 days, you have to tell us where you are. How many times do you check in as you go through customs? Maybe if you haven't traveled, you don't realize this. When you go through customs, even someplace like the United Kingdom. So I'm giving a speech in London, land at Heathrow, going through customs. Some guy with a British accent asks me, what's the purpose of my visit? I always lie and just tell him I'm visiting. I'm here to visit. I'm here to see the sights. I don't tell him I'm giving a speech because then it leads to the question of, oh, really? Who are you speaking to? And what are you talking about? And I don't want to go into that. So I lie to him and tell him, I'm just here on a tourist. I'm here to see the sights. I'm here to go to Piccadilly. Then what's the next question? Where are you staying? And if you can't tell them instantly where you're staying, raises a red flag. It's the same for people coming into this country on a visa to enter the United States as a tourist. Why can't we have a system? I mean, an Excel spreadsheet. How about we just buy a subscription to Microsoft Office for the government and just require, Billy Bob came into the country through Dulles or Denver International on such and such date. He has a 6-month visa, and every 6 weeks or every 30 days, whatever you want, it doesn't make any difference to me, but whatever the time frame is, every 30 days, he has to tell us where he is. So that at the end of the 6 months, if we haven't gotten an exit visa, if he hasn't processed out by going through San Francisco International or Dulles International, we know that Billy Bob from Moscow has overstayed his visa. And we know where his last known address was, the last hotel that he stayed at. Well, Michael, that means we're going to have border agents or immigrations and customs enforcement agents actually go track these overstays down. I'm paying a crap load of taxes. I would rather my crap load of taxes that I pay to the federal government go to hire more border agents than to have my crap load of taxes redistributed to help some schmuck somewhere that's getting free needles and free methadone in some clinic somewhere. Is that cold-hearted? Speaking of free needles and free methadone, I saw a meme today that really struck me as being like, I never thought about it that way. Why is it that we give free needles, free methadone, free whatever else that stuff is? In some places, we give them free places to go shoot up, but we don't, and we do that because we say that they have a disease, that their drug addiction is a disease. Okay, well, what about people that have diabetes? And so they need needles. They need supplies. They need to shoot up. They need insulin. Why don't we give that away for free? The stupid things that we do in this country are just taxing my patience. And this whole thing about MS-13 and how cops are getting killed, and so they're now fleeing the country, along with the MS-13 gangs. Do you understand? Think about that picture. So these poor cops in Guatemala, El Salvador, $300 or $400 a month. They're getting killed when they go home by MS-13 gangs. So they're now joining the caravans and entering the United States illegally at the same time that the people they're trying to escape from are doing the exact same thing. How stupid do we have to be? So triage the problem. Stop the problem where it's worse. And it's worse at our southern border, and it's worse with visa overstays. Why do I keep focusing on visa overstays? You ever heard of 9/11? Does anybody know what happened on 9/11? You realize, of course, that those Saudis had overstayed their visas. You mean if we had had a system in place to do visa overstays and to track them down and to find out what they're up to and then to deport them, that 9/11 might not have occurred? That is exactly what I am saying. But this is illegal immigration? No big deal. Nothing to see here. Move along. So Salvadoran police are fleeing in terror, coming to the United States. At the same time, the MS-13 is fleeing. So you got cops that are afraid of being killed by the people that they're probably in the same caravan with. Think of that. I mean, that is a Monty Python film right there. You have got cops that are scared of the MS-13 gangs that are probably in the same caravan entering at the same place illegally, probably being paying the same mules to bring them across. And we're sitting around listening to a bunch of dirtbag, Yahoo, dim-witted politicians telling us, oh, we can't deal with this because it's way too difficult. We need comprehensive immigration reform. Bite me. You're listening to the Michael Brown Show on KOA News Radio, 850 AM, 9401 FM, and always on the Michael Brown Show page at KOANewsRadio.com.
Tomorrow on Colorado's Morning News,
we take a look at Hickenlooper's run for the White House
as he celebrates his decision with Colorado.
And he worked on Alex Honnold's legendary climb up El Capitan.
Mark Sinott joins us at 8:40 on KOA News Radio.
If you're not making $5,000 to $10,000 a month at your current job, then maybe it's time to start flipping properties for some quick cash. If you like the sound of that, you're in luck. Over the last 5 years, the NVREA team has been perfecting the art of flipping properties for cash without the added risk of using your own money or credit. Call now and they'll send you a free copy of their DVD, Hidden Treasures in Wholesale Flipping. On this DVD, you'll see their easy wholesale flipping strategy for locating, evaluating, and flipping a property for profit in your area. Plus, learn how you can access highly discounted properties and the right funding partners for that perfect wholesale flip. Call 1-800-614-2196 now to get your free wholesale flipping DVD. Call 800-614-2196 and they'll also throw in free tickets to an information-packed live flipping training class, which includes a free smartwatch just for attending. Call 800-614-2196. That's 800-614-2196 to get your free flipping DVD now. Brought to you by NVREA.
Gravina's Windows and Siding at 950 West Evans in Denver. Gravina's is having a pane in the glass sale. Check out our Great Lakes line of windows and receive super high energy efficient triple pane for the price of double pane. You can't beat Gravina's R10 rated glass package with double low E and Krypton gas. Even Superman can't fly through that. Mention Hootie, our wise old owl, and receive an additional 10% discount. You can't afford to pass up this deal. The Great Lakes EcoSmart window is rated one of the most energy efficient windows according to Energy Star. The frame R value on the EcoSmart is rated R22 and has a composite reinforcement in the frame. This is one killer window. Call 303-GRAVINA for a free in-home estimate. Northern Colorado, call 970-GRAVINA. And don't forget to mention Hootie. Visit our beautiful showroom at 950 West Evans in Denver. And remember, nobody beats Gravina. Nobody.
You didn't file your taxes last year, and the IRS didn't say anything. The fact is, you haven't filed income taxes for several years, and you figure it's too late. It'll cost too much, and there's no way you're going to figure it out. But there's still that knot in your stomach knowing it's just not right. The bad news is, right now, you're a fugitive from the IRS. The worst news is, if they catch you, it's 1 year in jail for every year you haven't filed. I'm Jack McDonough, founder of Blackfin IRS Solutions. The good news is, the instant we file your back taxes, you go from being a fugitive to just owing money. And then, Blackfin can negotiate with the IRS for you. I can help you because I've been there. The sooner you call Blackfin about filing your back taxes, the sooner you'll get a good night's sleep.
Get caught up on your unfiled income taxes. Call Blackfin IRS Solutions online at blackfinirs.com. For your free in-person consultation, call 303-904-1450, 303-904-1450, or blackfinirs.com.
You know, I've bought more guns at one place than any other place in my life, and that's up in Boulder at Gunsport. They're found at 14th and Arapahoe. Gunsport is our kind of store. At Gunsport, you're going to find quality firearms, knives. They got a great selection of ammo, scopes, holsters, books. And here's the great thing about Gunsport. Not only do they buy, sell, and trade, Gunsport takes consignment. I've actually looked at some really nice guns on consignment up there. In fact, I should drive up this week and pick one up. They've got rare ammo. They got collector's guns. You name it, Gunsport's got it, or Gunsport can get it. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to drive up to Boulder because I want you to see for yourself why I have spent more money at Gunsport than any other single place in my entire life. They're at 14th and Arapahoe, and they're in Boulder. You can't miss that grand old building. You're going to make that turn at 14th and Arapahoe, and when you see the building, you're going to think to yourself, aha, I think I know this place. And then when you go inside, you're going to understand exactly why I love that place. Gunsport at 14th and Arapahoe in Boulder, or online at gunsport.us.
KOA News Time is now 8:30. The survivor of what's known as the Chuck E. Cheese Massacre pleaded Colorado lawmakers today not to do away with the state's death penalty. Bobby Stevens' testimony came during debate on the bill.
I'm the lone survivor of the 1993 Chuck E. Cheese Massacre. I'm speaking out for those who've had to suffer 25 years of back-and-forth politics.
The convicted murderer responsible for killing 4 people and injuring Stevens 25 years ago is one of the 3 men on Colorado's death row. Despite just a day's notice, people on both sides of the issue packed a hearing room today, including 6 district attorneys, 2 supporting the bill, 4 opposed. In a wide-ranging meeting with media in Denver, former Governor Hickenlooper talked about why he's running for U.S. president.
This is the most divided this country's been in my lifetime. It's probably the most divided we've been since the Civil War.
John Hickenlooper says he's the only candidate who can get things done. He's holding a campaign rally in Denver tomorrow night at 5:30 at Civic Center Park. Heinz condiments are getting 2 new additions. 2 new mayonnaise flavors are being introduced. They are Mano Must, mayonnaise mixed with mustard, and Mano Q, which mixes mayonnaise with barbecue sauce. The new sauces come in the same 16.5-ounce bottles, and they're Mayo Chump, predecessor of mayonnaise and ketchup. So far, the bottles have been spotted at H-E-B Grocers, and Amazon has some listed online as well. Our next news update at 9 o'clock. I'm Roger Hudson on KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
Accident-free on the highways right now. I-25 is looking good across town. I-70 eastbound still slowing at Steele and Monaco. Westbound slowing between Vasquez and York. That's because of that construction. Watch for them taking down lanes periodically. 225 and 270 are both looking free right now. We are clearing an accident, 6th Avenue in Havana, and a new one's popping up at Wadsworth and Bellevue. A slick drive for those folks heading up to the mountains as well. Lots of snowy conditions. CBS 4 weather. Tonight, a chance of snow or rain, snow mix, low of 23. Tomorrow, sunny, high of 52. Currently 33 degrees. I'm Darren Copeland with KOA News Radio, Colorado's news, traffic, and weather station.
Right now, save big and transform your home with Champion's Home Makeover Sale. Save 40% on Champion windows. Every Champion custom-made window is backed by their exclusive limited lifetime warranty. If it breaks, they fix it for as long as you own your home. And they're factory direct, so there's no middleman and no markup. Hi, this is Dave Logan, and Champion is the only window company that I personally endorse. And right now, you can save 40% on windows and 35% on sunrooms and siding when you participate in the Champion Yes program. Plus, 12 months, no interest, no payments. But hurry, time is running out. Schedule your free in-home estimate today online at getchampion.com. 40% off new windows, 35% off new siding and new sunrooms. It's the Transform Your Home sale. Book your appointment online at getchampion.com. That's getchampion.com.
The Champion limited lifetime warranty applies to Comfort 365 windows as long as the original purchaser owns the home. Subject to qualifying credit approval, minimum purchase required. All discounts apply to our regular prices. Cannot be combined with other advertisers' offers. See store or website for details.
At Shane Company, we make shopping for an engagement ring stress-free and easy. I'm Rorden Shane, 4th-generation jeweler.
And I'm Tanner.
For years, Tanner's been helping our customers find the perfect engagement ring.
At Shane Company, we do everything we can to make it easy. Guys, whether you have an idea of what she's looking for, or you have no idea, we're here to help. If you know what kind of ring she wants and you come in with some inspiration, like a picture, great. Or if you know the diamond shape she wants, we'll start by looking at stones. With the largest selection of rings, diamonds, rubies, and sapphires, it'll be easy to find a ring she'll love. If you're unsure of what to get, we can chat about her style and personality. What's she like? What's her job? Then we can show you rings that would be perfect for her. When you propose, you can be sure that moment will be everything she's always dreamed of.
Come to Shane Company, Denver's friendliest jeweler. We make finding the perfect engagement ring fun and easy.
Now you have a friend in the diamond business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
It's Wednesday, March 6th. Here are the new podcasts today on the iHeartRadio app. Stuff you missed in history class. This week, explore the history behind the cruise ship industry. Plus, how to money. And this week, it's how to get a leg up when you're buying a home. And Anna Faris is Unqualified podcast. Anna and her guests offer not-so-great relationship advice from completely unqualified Hollywood types. These podcasts and thousands more are new and waiting for you today. Your music, your stations, your podcasts, all free.
Back to Michael Brown on KOA News Radio and streaming live at KOANewsRadio.com.
Well, I went down to the Grundy County auction where I saw something I just had to have. My mind told me I should proceed with caution, but my heart said go ahead and make a bid on that.
So
I said, hey,
hang on, Greg. I'll be with you in just a minute. So Angie's, you found, who made this list up?
It's on Foursquare.
All right, and it's the top 10 places for corn dogs in Denver.
15.
Top 15.
15 places in Denver, and some of the places aren't even on the list that I thought would be on there.
Okay, so let's go through the list. Number 1.
Sputnik.
Now, Sputnik is what is? You told me it was on Broadway. I can't picture it. So where's Sputnik on Broadway?
Broadway at Ellsworth.
What is it? A hamburger place or what?
It's a bar, baker. There's not really a whole lot of information on this list.
Okay.
But apparently, a corn dog and a PBR is a must.
At the same time?
Same time.
Okay. You know, I'm not a beer drinker, so.
I don't like PBR.
You do?
No.
Oh. All right. Okay. So, will you print this list out for me?
Yes, I will.
Okay. So, what's number 2?
Offshoots at the Garden. It's a cafe in Cheesman Park.
Cheesman
Park.
Okay. And?
Oh, you said and.
And?
I couldn't hear you. Crown Burgers is next.
Okay, so Crown Burger I have seen my entire life. It's just off I-25 and Colorado Boulevard. It's like at Evans and Colorado.
Yeah.
I have never gone in there. Does it say anything else, like the burgers or anything? Or just the corn dogs?
Best burgers, chicken kebab is super yummy.
Chicken kebab at Crown Burgers?
It says delicious and not for the faint of heart.
Oh. Maybe you and I should go there one night before the show starts, and then we can, again, get sick by 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Ooh. Number 4 is High Dive, and they have vegan corn dogs.
Well, then all right, good night, everybody.
Hard pass.
Can you just put something in, because I got to leave. A vegan corn dog. Dear Lord, seriously, a vegan corn dog?
That's what it says.
All right, so mark that off the list.
Okay.
Next.
My Brother's Bar.
Oh, I've eaten at My Brother's Bar a bazillion times. I didn't know they had corn dogs. I don't remember. Of course, maybe it's because I never look at the menu when I go in.
Cornucopia corn dogs.
Where's that?
That's what it says.
That's a place, or that's at My Brother's?
It's a thing to eat. Cornucopia corn dogs.
At My Brother's Bar?
Yep.
Huh. Maybe I should go in, next time I go in, I should actually look at the menu. Because I always order the same thing. Cheeseburger and fries.
See? You would have known corn dogs were there.
I know my life is so narrow. It's I'm a narrow-minded, bigoted, closed-minded xenophobe because I've never had a corn dog at My Brother's Bar. All right, next.
There's breakfast corn dogs at the District.
Now, isn't that the same as pigs in a blanket?
I think so. Kind of, yeah.
That sounds kind of, I haven't had a pig in a blanket in a long time. Let's go to the Village Inn after the show and have pigs in a blanket. Do you think Village Inn has pigs in a blanket?
Free Pie Wednesday.
Oh, we have to get there before midnight, right? We can walk in and argue. Hey, it's not midnight yet. It's still Wednesday.
Exactly.
Bring the pie now. then we'll order the. All right, next.
Recess Beer Garden.
Don't know where that is.
That is on 17th.
Okay, I don't really care because me and beer gardens just, I'm not a beer guy.
Okay.
All right.
Hamburger stand.
Okay.
On Federal.
The one on Federal just off Colfax, I have actually eaten at that hamburger stand before.
And you didn't get a corn dog?
No, but you know what?
What?
Next time I'm down in that area, I might just do that. Next. Oh, wait, there's a hang on, Angie. I think there is a hamburger stand on Colorado Boulevard north of I-25.
Huh.
Like going toward Cherry Creek?
Interesting.
Next.
Very interesting.
So far we haven't had Sonic, right? Sonic didn't make the list?
Sonic did not make the list.
So how far down are we? Are we like 8, 9?
Number 9 is Grillin' Wings.
I'm not going to Grillin' Wings for a corn. That just seems wrong.
Yeah.
I don't even want just Grillin' Wings. What's Grillin' Wings? Is that like a sports bar or something?
I guess so. But now I'm starting to wonder about this list. They kind of seem like they strayed away from corn dogs because the next one is, I don't know if it's Oblio's Pizza. Oblio's. It's in Park Hill.
Abos?
Oblios.
Oh, okay. Not Abos. Okay.
Oblio.
So a pizza place, you go and you have a corn dog. That doesn't. All right. See that's wrong.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
All right. Next.
Chop House. 801 Chop House. In Cherry Creek.
In Cherry Creek, not the Chop House downtown.
Right.
Because I've been to the Chop House downtown, and I would guess if the Chop House downtown had corn dogs, they'd be like $30.
And they don't have a picture of a corn dog. They have a picture of a steak and potatoes.
So who made? Where are you getting this list again?
Foursquare.
Is that the thing where you? Is that the thing where the kids used to check in? Like I'm at such and such place.
Yeah.
And that would allow the FBI to track you. Like you just told the FBI where you were.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right. Is that still a thing?
I think some people still do it on the Facebook.
Well, I know on the Facebook people still check in. My friend Chris gave me his Facebook credentials one time. So while I was in, I forget. Oh, I think I was in Phoenix. So to throw his friends off, I would drive around to different, because in Scottsdale, that's where all the beautiful people live. So I would drive around to all the plastic surgery places, and I would check Chris in at these plastic surgery places over the course of about 4 or 5 days. It was a lot of fun. Hey, Greg, you're on with Michael Brown. What you got, Greg?
This whole thing on the border bit. Before I get into my point, MS-13, I don't know whether you're aware of this, started in Los Angeles.
No, I wasn't aware of that. I thought it started in El Salvador.
No, it started in L.A., and we discussed that extensively. And the time I was discussing that, I was in a double hurricane fence enclosure with concertina wire on top of it, which should tell you something.
Well, I hate Wikipedia, but it says is an international gang that originated in Los Angeles in the 70s and 80s.
Correct, and it originated in the El Salvadoran illegal community around MacArthur Park on Wilshire, and I used to walk through there many years ago when I worked downtown L.A., and when they drained that lake because it got into that subway they were building, there was something like 100 skeletons at the bottom of that lake. Oh, yeah, that was a dangerous neighborhood, let me tell you. But anyway, the point I was getting to, and I'm a Vietnam vet, my formal training is in engineering, and I've got some background in chemistry, which is relevant to this. We lost about 58,000 guys in Nam over about a 9-year period, over half not due to combat. We lost 70,000 people last year to heroin. Now they're bringing in this stuff called fentanyl. There was recently 250 some odd pounds of it confiscated down around Nogales, trying to come across the border. And a day or two ago, they got 20 kilos in New York, which they said was enough to kill 2 million people.
Yep, saw the story.
That's right. This is the stuff that killed Michael Jackson, administered by a doctor. Now, for people that don't know...
Well, actually, I think Michael Jackson died from an overdose of propofol, not fentanyl.
No, I think fentanyl was involved too, I believe. But the point is, it is intended as an anesthetic under, supervision of an anesthesiologist. But if you look up in a thing called the Merck Index, and I'm not talking about looking on the internet, I've actually looked at the hardbound, in terms of toxicity.
Does Merck still produce a hard copy of the
I don't know
index?
whether they still make the Merck in paper or not, but I have my own copy from what I studied chemistry. But the point is, in toxicity, it's comparable to potassium cyanide. And people understand...
Okay, Greg, all that's interesting, and I'm not trying to be rude, but what's the point?
The point is, with 70,000 dead, and now they're trying to bring this stuff over in the tons, and that's not an emergency on the border?
Well,
if that's not an emergency, I don't want to know what is.
Well, I didn't say it wasn't I didn't say we didn't have an emergency.
I'm on your side. I'm on your side. I'm saying that the people say we don't have an emergency on the border when that type of stuff is being pushed up here.
Well, I agree, but so you and I agree that there's an emergency on the border, and we got politicians that won't do anything about it, and that's that, I guess.
I mean, to me, it borders on treason.
Well, I'm not sure. I think treason gets thrown around a lot.
I know it doesn't quite cross the line to that.
No, I don't think it even gets near the line of treason.
Sabotaging the country.
Okay, let me ask you this. I'm going to be a dirtbag lawyer here because I get tired of people throwing around the word treason. Who's committing treason?
Well, nobody really is. That's why I'm saying.
So then don't tell me. So then don't tell me it borders on treason. I have a bugaboo about language, and I think that conservatives sometimes we do ourselves a disfavor by, hey, the emergency on the border borders on treason. No, it does not. It's a political issue that people are failing to deal with.
Then let me tell you where it does cross over the line potentially. If you have somebody making war on the United States and you're on their side, that is treason. We have had incidents, and I've talked to the people involved, going all the way back to the Clinton administration, where we've had border people down there.
But here's why. And look, I'm not trying to look. I think you and I here's our common ground. You and I agree there's an emergency on the southern border, that we need better border control. We need to stop illegal immigration. But I think where we digress is the whole thing about drugs. I understand that drugs are a problem, but I also believe that the drug war has been an abysmal failure. And you know what? Nobody is forcing anybody to take fentanyl, heroin, coke, meth, marijuana, speed, or anything else. People choose to do those things.
I agree with you, but let me get to my point, because this is something we haven't said. Going clear back even to the Clinton administration, like I said, I've talked to people, and some of this has gotten out. We've had people down on the border, I'm talking our law enforcement, where they have been brought under fire from renegade elements of the Mexican military. The one that happened.
Hey, Greg, that's common. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a dirtbag to you, but that's common knowledge. Border agents are fired upon by gang members, by the federales, by local cops, by everybody. So
and that qualifies as when it's done by a military.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So then let me ask you this. Do you want troops on the southern border?
If that's what it takes to stop that.
No, I'm asking you, is that what you want?
If that's what it takes to stop it,
I want a yes or no answer. Do you want troops on the southern border?
Only if they can stop it, and they're allowed to stop.
Because I don't think you want to answer the question, because you're a military guy, and you know that if you put troops on the border, somebody fires on those troops. What are those troops going to do?
The problem that you have...
Hey, Greg, answer my question. You're a military guy. You put troops on the border, and if here's the question. Listen closely.
No.
No, you listen to. Greg, my program. I drive the conversation. Now listen to me. You're a military guy. You want troops on the border. If you put troops on the border, and whether a federal rally or a local Mexican cop or an MS-13 gang member fires upon them from across the river or from the middle of the river, I don't care where they are, they fire on those troops, what are those troops going to do, Greg?
Fire back is what they should do.
And then what happens?
Well, then it's going to go downhill in a hurry, isn't it, for them?
Yes, right. So when you say you want troops on the border, because, look, I've tried to think this through about troops on the border, and I've got I've misgivings about it. Mexico is close enough of a failed state that if we put troops on the border and one federale or one local cop fires and we start firing back, Mexico does become a failed state. I don't want Mexico to be a failed state.
Do you know what happened with the Union Pacific Railroad a couple of years ago?
Surprised me.
DEA fined them $2 million because they claimed that they were supposed to send their law enforcement, and railroad law enforcement people have got an ungodly amount of power if you look it up. They wanted them to go into Mexico and inspect the trains before they come across the border, and because
wait a minute, who wanted who to do what here?
DEA.
DEA wanted Union Pacific cops or Union Pacific security people to go into Mexico to do what?
To inspect the trains before they cross the border to make sure they didn't have drugs.
Why didn't DEA do that?
Damn good question, isn't? Because how long do you think their agents would last? And they fined the UP for $2 million for not doing it.
Okay, all right, then do me a favor.
The UP has refused to pay it.
Okay, then do me a favor. Send me a link to that information because I've never heard that story in my life. It's not that I don't believe you. I just want to confirm it myself. So would you send me a link to that story?
Just go check a magazine called Railway Age.
No, I'm not. Listen, I don't. Look, here's how it works. You made the contention. You brought up the story. I'm just asking for source material, so you seem to know about it. So just send me the information, Michael Brown at KOA News Radio, and I'll take a look at it and see. I am not trying to pick on Greg, but conservatives need to learn to be very, very careful about what we wish for, what we ask for, and the language we use. And he just hit one of my hot buttons, and one of my hot buttons is this idea that everybody's treasonous. If everybody's treasonous, then why have we only had like maybe 1 or 2 convictions of treason in the history of the entire country? Everything is not treasonous. And I think we do ourselves a disservice when we resort to that language because it causes, forget the left. Forget liberals, socialists, progressives, because they don't make any difference. But the people in the middle, the people that we're all fighting over, the people that we're actually trying to persuade, that whenever we talk about this is treasonous, blah, 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 we turn them off. Even people that aren't schooled in legalese have to say to themselves, really? It's treason? Yeah, I don't know. And here's the other rule of the Michael Brown Show. If you call and you make a point that there's some incident, there's some fact of history that I'm not aware of, but you make the contention, it's your job to inform me because I do my own show prep. And so I'm not going to go look up the Union Pacific and whatever DEA did or did not do to them. So it's Greg's responsibility, since he made that contention, to provide that evidence. You see, this is kind of like a little, you might call me Judge Mike. And so when the lawyers make the contention, brief that issue for me. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Let's see, where was I going to go? Oh, yeah, Senator Graham. Senator Graham was on TV today and said,
bottom line is this continues. It's like adding a congressional district of illegal immigrants every year. The average congressional district is about 600,000 people. This year alone, we're on track to do 640. This has to stop.
And that's my point about chewing this off in little pieces. Don't tell me that because we have 670,000 illegal aliens coming into the country this year, or on record to get to that point, don't tell me that we need a comprehensive immigration reform bill. We don't. What we need to do is we need to triage and stop the stem of illegal aliens coming in. And then you can figure out, every time a Democrat or a Republican, anytime any politician tells you that we need comprehensive immigration reform, that is a cop-out. Because what they're telling you is, we can't solve anything until we solve everything. Now, if you work for any sort of company, small company, Fortune 50 company, I don't care, and your manager, your boss, your CEO says we must solve all of the problems before we solve any of the problems, the shareholders and the board of directors would fire that boy's ass in a New York minute. Because that's not how it works. What you do is you figure out what you got to solve, and you figure out the tactics. Well, you put your strategy in place, and then your tactics to get to that strategy. You got to know where you're going, but you got to know how you're going to get there. You're listening to Michael Brown on KOA News Radio, 850 AM, 94.1 FM, and always on the Michael Brown Show page at KOANewsRadio.com.
She listens for what you want.
I'm ready.
You listen for what you need.
Colorado's news, traffic, and weather station.
Available on over 2,000 devices.
Just say, Alexa, play KOA on iHeartRadio.
KOA News Radio.
Renters Warehouse has big news. They've acquired one of America's leading online real estate investment marketplaces and are the nation's leading real estate investment services company. This means Renters Warehouse is now your one-stop shop to research, buy, lease, manage, and sell single-family rental properties. Whether you're looking at 20 properties or just one, you can easily do it all from the comfort of your own home. Heck, you can even do it from your phone. And your properties can be anywhere in the country. It all starts by visiting renterswarehouse.com today. Guys, get your sex life back. ThriveMD in Lone Tree has GainsWave, a revolutionary medical treatment for ED. GainsWave is painless, no shots, no pills. Visit GainsWaveDenver.com or call 720-575-7878.
Ron Burgundy Podcast.
The Ron Burgundy Podcast. Already one of the most listened to podcasts in the world. There's a new episode available now. Listen or download on the free iHeartRadio app.
It's our one and only sale of the year, and it's going on right now. The anniversary sale at Williams Jewelers of Inglewood.
We've marked down fine jewelry and timepieces all over the store.
Major markdowns and case after case up to 50% off.
Discounts on designer jewelry, Swiss watches, designer bridal, even diamonds, and our famous estate jewelry.
It's all on sale.
Imagine designer sterling and gold you never see marked down, up to 50% off.
Selected Swiss watches, up to 40% off.
In designer bridal, we can't even say on the radio.
It's all on sale at our lowest price of the year.
If you're thinking about getting engaged, guys, have we got a deal for you.
The anniversary sale at Williams Jewelers of Inglewood. Our one
and only
sale of the year.
At Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers in Inglewood. From anywhere in Denver, we're in Inglewood at Bellevue and Broadway. But hurry, it all ends Saturday, March 30th.
If you're not making $5,000 to $10,000 a month at your current job, then maybe it's time to start flipping properties for some quick cash. If you like the sound of that, you're in luck. Over the last 5 years, the NVREA team has been perfecting the art of flipping properties for cash without the added risk of using your own money or credit. Call now and they'll send you a free copy of their DVD, Hidden Treasures in Wholesale Flipping. On this DVD, you'll see their easy wholesale flipping strategy for locating, evaluating, and flipping a property for profit in your area. Plus, learn how you can access highly discounted properties and the right funding partners for that perfect wholesale flip. Call 1-800-614-2196 now to get your free wholesale flipping DVD. Call 800-614-2196 and they'll also throw in free tickets to an information-packed live flipping training class, which includes a free smartwatch just for attending. Call 800-614-2196. That's 800-614-2196 to get your free flipping DVD now. Brought to you by NVREA.
This is Sue Bolts, president of Crest Kitchen and Bath. What started as a small business 65 years ago has grown tremendously, but we've never lost sight of what's important. To make sure that each and every one of our customers is satisfied with our products and our service. We're proud of our legacy and would love to be your one-stop source for all your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Let us create the kitchen or bath that's perfect for you. You'll find us in Wheat Ridge or online at CrestKitchenBath.com. That's CrestKitchenBath.com.
You know, if your business is not getting leads and traffic through your website, if your company has a lousy rank in Google, then I want you to call the digital marketing experts that I'm using to build my new website. Get Found Fast has been helping businesses develop internet strategies to generate leads for over 12 years. SEO, social media, reputation management, and awesome state-of-the-art websites like they're building for me. Let Get Found Fast do a free analysis of your website and your online presence. It takes less than 10 minutes, and you do it by phone. Go to GetFoundFast.com. That's GetFoundFast.com.
KBCO HD3 Boulder. This is an iHeart radio station.
KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM. The 50,000-watt blowtorch of the Rocky Mountain West.
KOA News Radio time is 9 o'clock. I'm Roger Hudson. Our top story: Colorado Senate Judiciary Committee has just voted to decide the future of our state's death penalty. Their decision coming up. But first, traffic and weather together. Here's Darren Copeland.
Accident-free on the highway, so good news there. I-25 is looking good across city. I-70, you're going to see some slowing eastbound between Steele and Monaco. Watch for that. Westbound in the construction zone, slowing between Vasquez and York. It's periodic, so it shouldn't be too bad for you. C-470 is looking good at this hour. One new off-freeway accident at Sheridan in Mississippi, and it's starting to rain up north, so watch for slick roads up there. I'm Darren Copeland with KOA News Radio, Colorado's news, traffic, and weather station.
A little chilly tonight, 23 degrees. We'll have some clouds out there, and there is a chance for some late rain-snow mix or light flurries here in Denver. Doesn't look like much, but there could be some slick roads out there by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, we finally start to warm up again. 52 degrees, mostly sunny skies, and we are still in the 50s on Friday. From CBS 4, I'm meteorologist Lauren Whitney on KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
Partly cloudy and 35 degrees at DIA. The Senate Judiciary Committee has voted 3-2 to send the bill to repeal Colorado's death penalty to the full Senate for debate. One of the voices calling for the question to be sent to voters instead was District Attorney George Brockler.
If Colorado wants to abolish the death penalty, you won't hear another peep about it from me. But this feels far more rushed, far more political than it does if we were to send it to the voters to get their input.
This isn't the first time. Lawmakers have tried before to repeal Colorado's death penalty, which was last used back in 1997. The individual, Gary Lee Davis, he died by lethal injection for the 1986 kidnap, rape, and murder of his neighbor, Virginia May. Weld County has become the third in Colorado to pass a resolution declaring itself a so-called Second Amendment sanctuary county. Commissioners unanimously passed the resolution today that will free county lawmakers and officers to not comply with state gun laws that the Weld County Commissioners have decided are unconstitutional. These recent actions by several Colorado communities had come as the state legislature considers a red flag bill that would allow family members or even law enforcement officials to petition a judge to remove firearms from anyone who they deem dangerous to themselves or others. Former Governor Hickenlooper is rolling out his presidential campaign with a planned Thursday night event at Denver's Civic Center Park. In Denver tonight or this afternoon, he answered reporter questions on everything from beer to pot.
The federal government should reclassify marijuana so it's not a Schedule I narcotic. That's at the root of many of the problems. Make sure that we can, that people in the marijuana industry, whether it's medical or recreational adult use, that those businesses don't have to do everything in cash.
John Hickenlooper says he's the candidate in the race who can get things done. What was an emotional hearing in Washington as a senator revealed that she'd been raped as a superior officer while she served in the Air Force. Senator Martha McSally was the first American woman to fly in combat. She said today that she, like many other victims, didn't report the incident at the time.
Like so many women and men, I didn't trust the system at the time. I blamed myself. I was ashamed and confused. I thought I was strong, but felt powerless.
Often choking back tears, McSally spoke at the Senate hearing on the prevention of military sexual assault. Our next update at 9:30. I'm Roger Hudson, KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
Right now, save big and transform your home with Champion's Home Makeover Sale. Save 40% on Champion windows. Every Champion custom-made window is backed by their exclusive limited lifetime warranty. If it breaks, they fix it for as long as you own your home. And they're factory direct, so there's no middleman and no markup. Hi, this is Dave Logan, and Champion is the only window company that I personally endorse. And right now, you can save 40% on windows and 35% on sunrooms and siding when you participate in the Champion Yes program. Plus, 12 months, no interest, no payments. But hurry, time is running out. Schedule your free in-home estimate today online at getchampion.com. 40% off new windows, 35% off new siding and new sunrooms. It's the Transform Your Home sale. Book your appointment online at getchampion.com. That's getchampion.com.
The Champion limited lifetime warranty applies to Comfort 365 windows as long as the original purchaser owns the home. Subject to qualifying credit approval, minimum purchase required. All discounts apply to our regular prices. Cannot be combined with other advertisers' offers. See store or website for details.
Tonight, Michael Brown joins me here.
This is the former FEMA director.
Talk show host Michael Brown.
Brownie. Now.
Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job.
It's a heck of a show with Michael Brown.
You're on the radio.
On KOA News Radio.
Remember the ISIS bride that said that she really wants to come back to America? I guess fighting in Syria and killing American soldiers and encouraging people to, to kill fellow Americans. Yeah, she has a strange way of not answering questions.
A lot of people are going to find that hard to believe after some of the tweets that you put out.
I know that, but it was an ideology that really was just a phase.
There's one tweet in particular where you talk about calling on Americans to do drive-by shootings, to rent a truck and drive over people, spilling their blood, and you say Memorial Day, Veterans Day, go out and do it.
Again, my mother told me not to speak about these things.
Again, my mommy told me not to speak about these things. You're smart enough, you're old enough, you're brave enough, you're stupid enough to go join ISIS to fight against Americans. Yet when you're asked about a tweet, my mommy told me not to talk about these things. Let's go to Mike in Westminster. Mike, you're on the Michael Brown Show. What you got, Mike? Mike. Everybody's Mike tonight. Mike.
Yeah, well, maybe it's antonomistic. Is that really a word? Anyway, I thought we changed subjects there for a second. I was looking back to the drug trade about the MS-13. The thing that I was looking at is actually the people that are still here in America that actually do the drug trade. But, I didn't know we changed subjects. I apologize.
What? Who changed subjects?
Oh, because we went to the Taliban lady. So I'm as political as you are.
Well, no. If you want to talk, I took your call because it says you wanted to say something about the drug trade.
Right. There's an awful lot of people in the United States that make an awful lot of money off of these illegal drug trades. So if we would cut that out, would not that be more advantageous to us than worrying about where it's coming from, because we all know that it's coming mostly from China.
Well, okay, so explain again what you want to do. You want to get rid of the distributors?
Yeah, because if we cut the head off the snake, which is our addiction here in America,
all right. So how do you want to cut off the addiction in the United States? Because you want.
Well, I'm not sure, but I think that would be an open dialogue instead of worrying about what's coming across the border. And don't get me wrong, I would love to see a complete wall, but let's flesh out.
So some idiot decides that he wants to, for whatever reason, and I don't understand the reason, but for whatever reason he decides he wants to snort coke, or he wants to shoot some crack up, or he wants to do heroin or fentanyl or whatever. How would you stop that individual from making that choice?
Well, I'm not really sure about that, but I think it's an open dialogue.
Well, that's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to have that open. You made the suggestion that what we should do is cut the head off the snake, which I thought I interpreted to mean the users.
That's correct.
Okay, so how would you?
That was more education than anything. I grew up in the 80s, and there was not this problem.
Well, I think there's always been a drug problem.
Well, absolutely. There's been a drug problem from day one.
Right. Alcohol's a drug. I mean, we got a drug problem there. So I guess what I'm trying to find out, if you want to cut the head off the snake, which is the consumer of either legal drugs, alcohol or marijuana, or illegal drugs, fentanyl, meth, whatever, how would you go about doing that, Mike? That's what I'm trying to flesh out.
Well, I think maybe more stringent laws and more, or less access to prescription drugs.
Okay, let's do this for a minute. Let's set opioids and prescription drugs aside for a moment, and let's talk about that category other than opioids. Let's talk about fentanyl, heroin. Let's talk about crack cocaine. Let's talk about what am I leaving out here? Amphetamines, whatever. How would you cut that head off?
Well, back in the 90s, whenever I was living in Pittsburgh, there was a cop on about every street corner, and it was anything was happening in public, those people were arrested.
So that would just, and again, don't take this wrong. I'm just trying to flesh it out, because maybe I should tell you where I'm coming from first.
Okay.
I think the drug war is stupid. And I think if somebody wants to shoot up heroin, they want to kill themselves, don't make them a ward of the state. Don't make me pay for it. If they want to go off and die in a corner, they can go off and die in a corner. I'm a true libertarian about that, because I think the drug war has infringed on our liberties, infringed on our freedoms. It has created a police state. It has done all these awful things. To what end? We still have the consumers. So we're already doing kind of what you're asking for, except you want even, and don't let me put words in your mouth, so stop me if I am. You want even more law enforcement, and I'm like, holy crap. It's not that I'm against, local cops patrolling my neighborhood, but I don't want cops watching. I don't want so many cops that we drive everything underground, or I'm scared to go out and pee on my front yard in the middle of the night while the dog's out or something, because I'm going to get arrested for indecent exposure. I'm trying to find a balance, and it sounds like you're arguing for exactly what I'm against, which is even more of a police state.
And actually, I believe that you and I are a lot closer in ideas, but my problem was that your last caller about the MS-13 in LA, almost seems like a sympathizer. And I'm opposed to that, because we've watched this since the end of the Vietnam War with the bike clubs. And I'm not a sympathizer with them, but I am sympathizing with also what they want to do. But I don't agree with
What who wants to do?
What the bike clubs do.
You're talking about you're talking about illegal bike clubs, the criminal gangs.
That's correct.
Okay, so you're opposed to criminal gangs. We're all opposed to criminal gangs. We're all. I mean, I'm against illegal drugs, but I just I guess what I'm trying to understand, what I'm trying to pull out of your head is, you want to cut the head off the snake, and I'm sorry to keep going back to, but that was your language.
Yeah, it was my analogy.
And I'm trying to understand how you want to do that, because the only thing I ever hear is we need more law enforcement. We need more cops. We need to do this and that to stop. And I'm kind of like, we've been doing that for decades now. The war on drugs has just cost us, it's like the war on poverty. It's cost us billions of dollars. It hasn't really done anything to solve poverty. The war on drugs has cost us billions of dollars, and drug use is worse than it's ever been.
But also, what my point is we have to look internally inside the United States on to how we handle that. It's not just what's coming over the border or what's coming from China or what we're doing here. If we don't have the education, I grew up in a family that has lost several and continue.
You've lost several family members to drug overdoses?
Yeah, from drug usage.
Okay. So what do you think, and I know this gets personal, but what do you think could have been done to stop your family members from ODing on illegal drugs?
Well, I think that the education would be right.
And don't, please, because I'm trying to think if I've got any even distant, I don't think I do. Actually, I take that. My wife's sister's son died of an overdose. So yeah, it does hit home. So here's my question to you, and so
it really starts with marijuana.
Let's set that aside for a moment.
Okay.
What do you really believe? And if so, what would it be? Do you really believe that better education would have kept your loved one from ODing? Because when I think about my nephew that OD'd, I don't think any amount of education in the world would have saved his life.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about that.
Well, I'm asking you, do you think that more education would have saved your family members?
Yes, I believe.
And why do you believe that?
Well, because I was raised up by, well, obviously it was different parents, and they didn't drink, they didn't do any kind of drugs, they didn't do anything, like that.
Okay, well, so my wife's sister and her husband, they may have been social drinkers, they didn't do drugs, they were probably as opposed to drug usage as anybody else, and they could do nothing to save their son.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Well, no, I guess what I'm really trying to understand what kind of education you think would have saved your family members, and I haven't gotten an answer to that, and I really would like to hear it.
Well, it started in middle school for me.
No, I know you, and you told me about your parents, but apparently you have family members that were they raised by parents that did drugs, or?
Yes.
So it was almost a generational thing. They saw the example that their parents were using drugs, they used drugs, and they ended up dead.
Right.
So who would have? So then, who would have educated?
They're still alive.
Who?
Yeah, their morning sun. So
I'm sorry. Is there somebody in the background talking?
no, I'm sorry. I'm right here.
Okay. So the family members that you're telling me about that died of drug overdoses, their parents were also drug users.
No, alcohol.
Oh, okay. So were they alcoholics?
Back to where I had started with the alcohol and marijuana use. And everybody thought it was okay.
All right. So did the people who died of an overdose, did they start with marijuana and alcohol?
That is correct.
And what do you think, in terms of education, would have prevented them from going down that path when they saw their parents, I assume it was their parents, going down that same path?
Right. But yet, 10 years later, whenever I go to school, I get the different education. And I'm not talking about the education like we have here with AOC, because I'm as far right as you can be.
No, I don't think so. I'm honestly, maybe I think you and I are talking past each other. I'm honestly trying to understand what kind of education intervention would have saved those family members. I mean, do you really? Let me put it in a really crass way. Do you think some 1 hour or 1 hour a week or a whole semester or whatever on the evils of drugs would have prevented them from ODing?
Quite possibly not.
Then,
but this is not an OD situation. This is a cancer that.
Well, I thought you told me they died.
They did.
Well, so it is an OD situation.
Well, yeah, absolutely, because methamphetamines will kill you.
So you have a family member that died of an overdose of methamphetamine, of meth, and you think that some sort of, and I'm going to say public school, some sort of public school educational program may have saved that individual's life.
I believe that it could have.
Okay, and I think that's where you and I disagree, because I think we can.
Okay, fine.
Look, for example, I know that speeding down the highway is dangerous and could actually result in my death. I do it anyway. Right. So I know a lot of things. I know eating. Well, I don't eat that many cheeseburgers. I joke about it. I know that just I know sitting in this studio surrounded by all this electronics and plastics and everything else that go on, if I spend enough time in here, I could probably develop some sort of cancer from it. Yet I choose to come in here. I guess my point, the point I'm trying to make is people make choices. Nobody forced your, whatever these relatives were, nobody forced them to take the drugs. They chose to take the drugs.
That's correct.
And I don't know that there's anything that anybody can do to stop people's choice absent some sort of forcible governmental or other intervention, and I'm just adamantly opposed to that. I guess I'll put it this way, then I got to let you go. I would rather people make bad choices and me still be able to live in liberty and freedom than to somehow create a police state so that nobody ever takes too much alcohol or too much marijuana, or I guess there is such a thing as taking too much coke. I would rather live in a free and open society where people who make bad choices suffer the consequences of those bad choices, and at some point we all learn, hey, you're making a bad choice, you end up dead, and I think people would learn more from that than they would from any sort of program. So anyway, interesting. Let me do this. Let me skip down here and go to Bill and Parker. Bill, you think the public schools drive the drug problem?
Oh, they absolutely do, sir.
And how's that?
Have you ever heard of Dr. Carl Hart?
No, should I?
Dr. Carl Hart is a professor at Columbia University. He got his doctorate in pharmaceutical something or other at University of Wyoming, just up the road from you. He says, and I believe him, that Ritalin and methamphetamine are the same thing. And the public school system is putting all kinds of kids on Ritalin to control their ADD. And then when the Ritalin doesn't
hang
work
on. Let me interrupt you. That all may be true, but where you lose me is when you say that the schools are putting them on Ritalin. The parents are doing that. No school can force a child to be on Ritalin.
Okay, well, if you're going to stub this to death, go ahead and stub it to death. But if you let me finish what I was in the process of saying when you cut me off, you wouldn't need to stub this to death.
Well, I might just stub it to death just out of spite now, but go ahead.
Okay.
And by the way, you got 60 seconds.
The public schools tell the students, parents, that either they go on Ritalin or they're going to be expelled. Okay? That basically gives the parents two choices. The kid can be expelled and be a homeless derelict, or he can go on Ritalin, get the problems theoretically solved, and stay in school.
Can you give?
You're not going to let me finish this.
No, you know what? I'm not. I'll tell you what I'll tell you what I will let you do, Bill. You can email me an example of a school that has said your child will go on Ritalin or your child will be expelled from school. Because I'd like to talk to those parents. Whoa. Angie, you got any corn dogs back there?
No.
Got any Ritalin back there? Because I could use some Ritalin right now.
No.
You're listening to Michael Brown on KOA News Radio, 850 AM, 94.1 FM, and always on the Michael Brown show page at KOANewsRadio.com.
Tomorrow on Colorado's Morning News,
we take a look at Hickenlooper's run for the White House
as he celebrates his decision with Colorado.
And he worked on Alex Honnold's legendary climb up El Capitan.
Mark Sinott joins us at 8:40 on KOA News Radio.
Everyone wants to have things their own way. It's human nature. But sometimes what you may want is different from what your sleep partner wants. Well, compromise is necessary in a relationship, but it doesn't have to be when it comes to the quality of your sleep. This is Mike Rosen for my friends at InnoMax, where they build beds that adjust to each of you. Whether you like firm or soft, warm or cool, lying flat or elevated, InnoMax has the perfect sleep solution for you and your partner, even if you differ in your preferences. Visit either InnoMax location in Loveland at the Outlets or the original in Denver at I-70 and I-25 for a huge array of sleep choices. Test dress digital air sleep, conforming genuine memory cell, refreshingly natural latex, therapeutic fluid support, and even the InnoMax exclusive InnoPedic with Flexipod support. Add an upper flex adjustable base to your sleep choice and your comfort possibilities are endless. InnoMax is the place for great sleep for both of you. Call 1-800-InnoMax.
You didn't want $1 million? How about 1 million socks? I'm Randy from Bombas. When me and my business partner Dave,
how's it going?
Quit our jobs to start a sock company,
Bombas,
we wanted to make the best socks in the history of feet. No more annoying seam, no more falling down your leg, added arch support.
You get the idea.
And what's better than creating the best socks in the history of feet?
Sharing them.
This is what we do. 1 pair purchased equals 1 pair donated to those in need. Our dream was always to donate 1 million pairs. We thought it would take 10 years. That's why Dave said,
when we donate 1 million pairs of socks, I'll get a tattoo to celebrate.
But then something happened. People loved our socks, and instead of 10 years, it only took 2.5. 1 million pairs.
And 1 Bombas tattoo on my arm.
Feel the most comfortable socks in the history of feet by going to bombas.com/KOA and get 20% off your first order. That's BOMBAS.com/KOA.
Come to Shane Company for a gift that's easy to love. Hi, I'm Tom Shane.
And I'm Alicia, our lead designer. Jewelry essentials are classic pieces that every woman should own. They make perfect gifts because she can wear them with anything. At Shane Company, we have all the essentials. Diamond studs, diamond hoop earrings, diamond pendants, tennis bracelets, and statement rings with diamonds, sapphires, and rubies. My team is always redesigning the basics to make them anything but basic. They still look classic, but our unique details make them beautiful from every angle, far more special than the plain styles sold everywhere else.
Come in and see our excellent craftsmanship. You can feel how substantial each piece is because we make all of our jewelry to last a lifetime.
Ladies, treat yourself, or put these essentials on your wish list. You deserve something beautiful that you can wear forever.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Hey, it's Susie Warden with some big news from my friends at Renters Warehouse. They've acquired one of America's leading online real estate investment marketplaces and have now become the nation's leading real estate investment services company. What does this mean for you? It means Renters Warehouse is now your one-stop shop to research, buy, lease, manage, and sell single-family rental properties. Seriously, it's like you have stocks and bonds, except they're rental homes. Whether you're looking for 20 properties or just one, Renters Warehouse gives you the tools you need. Find great properties and great tenants, collect the rent, manage the maintenance, view stock-like analytics, and track your portfolio. With Renters Warehouse, you can easily do it all from the comfort of your own home. Heck, you can even do it from your phone. And your properties don't have to be local. They can be anywhere in the country. When it comes to unlocking the investment power of rental homes, Renters Warehouse is leveling the playing field. They have the network, knowledge, and technology to make you a rent estate mogul virtually overnight. It all starts by visiting renterswarehouse.com today. Renters Warehouse. List, rent, manage, all under one roof.
KOA News Radio time is 9:30. The Senate Judiciary Committee has voted along party lines this evening to send a bill to repeal Colorado's death penalty to the full Senate for debate. The committee vote was 3-2 after hours of emotional public testimony on both sides of the bill.
These are individuals that are not on death row because of their race. They're on death row because of their heinous crimes and their multiple attempts and successful attempts to murder individuals and to get away with murder.
Maisha Fields, daughter of Democratic Senator Rhonda Fields, her brother and his fiancé were murdered by Sir Mario Owens, who currently sits on death row. Colorado's snowpack is looking good. The southern half of the state has a snowpack that's 130% of normal. Statewide, the snowpack is 122% of normal. Good news there. Brian Dominics with the Colorado Snow Survey says that bodes well for the mild fire season later on this year, hopefully.
While it's a good start to have a great snowpack at this point in time, conditions can still change through March and April, and then as you get into those summer months, depending on how the snowpack melts out and how future precipitation comes, things can dry out, but right now it's a great start.
The snowpack also means water supplies should be in good shape. And finally, some sad news. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek revealing some troubling personal health news today.
Just like 50,000 other people in the United States each year, this week, I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Trebek is vowing to fight the disease and be one of the few who survive. He made the announcement in a YouTube video. Trebek is 78 years old and has been hosting Jeopardy for 35 years. Our next news update at 10 o'clock. I'm Roger Hudson on KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
Still accident-free around the highways, and it's looking good for now. Eastbound I-70, slight delays between Steele and Monaco. And on the westbound side, you might see occasional slowing between Vasquez and York. Other than that, I-70 is looking really good across town. I-25 has no problems to report across the city. We need you to watch for slick roads in the mountains and up north as that weather is starting to come in. C-470 right now looks good, as does the Boulder Turnpike. Off-freeway clearing an accident at Sheridan in Mississippi. CBS 4 weather. Tonight, chance of snow or rain mix. Low of 23. Tomorrow, sunny and high of 52, currently 32 degrees. I'm Darren Copeland with KOA News Radio, Colorado's news, traffic, and weather station.
If you're not making $5,000 to $10,000 a month at your current job, then maybe it's time to start flipping properties for some quick cash. If you like the sound of that, you're in luck. Over the last 5 years, the NVREA team has been perfecting the art of flipping properties for cash without the added risk of using your own money or credit. Call now and they'll send you a free copy of their DVD, Hidden Treasures in Wholesale Flipping. On this DVD, you'll see their easy wholesale flipping strategy for locating, evaluating, and flipping a property for profit in your area. Plus, learn how you can access highly discounted properties and the right funding partners for that perfect wholesale flip. Call 1-800-614-2196 now to get your free wholesale flipping DVD. Call 800-614-2196 and they'll also throw in free tickets to an information-packed live flipping training class, which includes a free smartwatch just for attending. Call 800-614-2196. That's 800-614-2196 to get your free flipping DVD now. Brought to you by NVREA.
It's our one and only sale of the year, and it's going on right now. The anniversary sale at Williams Jewelers of Inglewood.
We've marked down fine jewelry and timepieces all over the store.
Major markdowns and case after case up to 50% off.
Discounts on designer jewelry, Swiss watches, designer bridal, even diamonds, and our famous estate jewelry.
It's all on sale.
Imagine designer sterling and gold you never see marked down, up to 50% off.
Selected Swiss watches up to 40% off.
In designer bridal, we can't even say on the radio.
It's all on sale at our lowest price of the year.
If you're thinking about getting engaged, guys, have we got a deal for you.
The anniversary sale at Williams Jewelers of Inglewood. Our one
and only
sale of the year.
At Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers in Inglewood. From anywhere in Denver, we're in Inglewood at Bellevue and Broadway. But hurry, it all ends Saturday, March 30th.
Friday is International Women's Day.
International Women's Day.
All day long, iHeartRadio will celebrate the incredible achievements of women.
Women who have a very clear vision of what they want in life.
It's beautiful, and it's about damn time.
All day Friday, right here.
Special thanks to Prime Video and the upcoming Amazon original series, Hannah, for supporting International Women's Day. Don't miss the thrilling coming-of-age drama about an extraordinary young girl determined to unearth the truth behind who she is. Hannah premieres on March 29th on Prime Video.
Can't wait on hold? Text Michael at 56690. Now, back to Michael Brown on KOA News Radio.
I've just asked Amy. Hey, Amy, if you're still listening, I just asked you a question on Facebook. Because I want to know, I think you just made my point, but I'm not sure. Let's go talk to Connor. Connor, you're with Michael Brown. What you got?
Hey, Mike. So just picking up with the guy that called in about school and Adderall.
He's actually talking about Ritalin, not Adderall. But.
Ritalin.
Yeah.
Ritalin, Adderall. Ritalin, I was in second grade, and my parents went through the same kind of thing.
How old are you now?
I'm 25.
Okay, so you're 25. Second grade, school told you had to be on Ritalin?
Yeah, so I had said that I wasn't doing well, I wasn't learning well, I was disruptive, distracted or distracting. And so they called my parents in, and they had a discussion with them that all these things were happening and that something had to be done. Now, I don't know that anything was so blatant that I'd be expelled or anything so direct as that, but they made it very clear that they were not going to be the option for my education if it went without some sort of adjustment like that, because so they started talking about alternative schools, private schooling, special needs care, special needs schooling, all sorts of different things. And I guess you could kind of say that could be kind of a scare tactic, taking out of the public school system. But they did put me on Ritalin, and my teachers say they saw a difference, and my parents say they saw a difference. And
but hang on, who put you on Ritalin?
So my parents chose to take me to a doctor who then prescribed Ritalin.
That's where I was going. So you went to a doctor.
Yeah.
And so you went to a medical doctor, I assume.
Correct.
And did the medical doctor diagnose you with any sort of ADHD, or it wouldn't be an adult, but any sort of attention deficit disorder of any sort?
Right, yeah. So he diagnosed me with ADHD.
ADHD, all right. I did a quick calculation. You said you were 25 years old?
Correct, yep.
And I'm just guessing that this happened when you were 10 or 12 years old?
Oh, probably like 8 or 9.
Okay, 8 or 9. So I was guessing maybe 2006, but maybe earlier, maybe 2004, 2002.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, so 2004, 2002, you're a behavior problem at school. Factually correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a behavior problem at school. The school tells your parents that, hey, something's got to give here. You're disrupting the class. You're disrupting all the other kids in the class. So your parents seek medical attention.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor diagnoses you with ADHD. And does he prescribe Adderall or Ritalin or one of these?
Yeah.
Okay.
He prescribed Ritalin.
Okay. So you were on Ritalin for how long, do you think?
Ritalin probably 6 to 8 months, and then it changed to something else. Maybe I think it was Adderall.
Okay. You're 25 years old now. Are you?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to answer this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. You still don't have to answer it. Are you on any sort of medication now?
No, not for ADHD.
Okay. Are you on antidepressants or anything?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is because sometimes when you have those kinds of behavioral problems, look, I'm not a doctor and I'm not trying to pretend to be a doctor, but having friends who are doctors who I've discussed this with, oftentimes that manifestation of that behavior at that age is either a bipolar or a depressive, almost manic manifestation of some chemical imbalance in you. Do you think that's the case with you?
Well, it's funny you mention that. Over the years, I think part of this is a mother that really bought I was diagnosed with ADHD, bipolar, high anxiety, and at some point they considered something else, all by the age of 12. However, I have since gotten off all the medication except for what I now take to sleep, and what I now take for depression. And the depression is found that I have a neuron in the brain that overprocesses my dopamine.
Yep.
So I don't have enough remaining in the brain
to
function normally.
Yep. That all makes total sense. So in that case, as opposed to the blanket statements that kids are overactive or that kids are just not disciplined, you actually had a neurological disorder which a doctor diagnosed, and now some 13, 14, 15 years later, you're still being treated for that, but you're functioning.
Right. Originally, I guess technically incorrectly, I may distribute symptoms of ADHD as a child, but the problem really was that I have a neuron that I have depressive behavior.
Yeah. And so now you take sleep medications, you take some kind of antidepressant or some sort of bipolar medicine, gabapentin or something for your bipolar, but to my point, you're functioning.
Yeah.
And the other point I would make, irrespective or regardless of whether it was a misdiagnosis when you were a child, your behavior was disruptive in the classroom. You admit that. You admit that. Your parents recognize that.
Yeah, I had a tendency to be distracted and do other things like draw and color on paper, or oftentimes I'd find myself looking at the door,
right,
thinking of what I'd be doing elsewhere if I could.
Truthfully, you and I have that. I do that sometimes, like right now.
Yeah.
At least you can laugh. I wanted to see if you would laugh about that. And Connor, you laughed. You sound to me like, with everything you've been through, you're very well adjusted. Are you in college or anything? You work, or what do you do now?
No, I'm a pipe fitter apprentice.
Very good. So you're a functioning, contributing member of American society.
Yeah.
And your parents were wise enough to recognize that perhaps they listened to the school, but they were wise enough to actually seek medical treatment and not just capitulate to the school's demands.
I think that's definitely a good statement. One thing that I would caution is that not every doctor is there just for the treatment of the individual. They have gain in it too, and they can lead to overdiagnosis or overprescribing.
Right.
And that actually was a problem that I encountered as well. And I no longer take any medication for bipolar. I'm the happiest I've ever been in a very, very long time. And no ADHD medication. With the sleep and depression medication, it does me fine. So now, speaking to doctors now, I found somebody that works very well, and we're learning that the story is a little different than what doctors previously had done, and some of that's just what makes the most sense in the broader.
Let me interrupt for just a second. So the original diagnosis you're saying of ADHD was incorrect, but later the bipolar diagnosis was correct.
With depression, it's more a clinical depression rather than I physically have a neuron that overprocesses dopamine, giving me a tendency towards depression.
Okay, all right.
That with bipolar, it's more depression's involved, but it's more an ebb and flow, a lot of emotions up and down.
I know that. What I'm trying to ascertain, Connor, is have you been diagnosed as both depressive and bipolar? That's all I'm trying to find out.
Okay. No, as an adult, I am depressive.
Okay, but no bipolar.
Not bipolar.
Okay, all right. That's all I needed to know. But the point being, you went through all of this. Your parents sought treatment. You got appropriate treatment, and now you're functioning fine. You're functioning as normally as you can with medication.
Absolutely.
Good for you. Good for you. Congratulations. Took me a while to get there, but I finally got there. Let's go to Chris in the Springs. Chris, you're on with Michael Brown. What you got?
Yeah, I'm sitting here listening to you, and it's a great show, by the way. And this is a topic that's sort of near and dear to my heart because I have several children, and we've battled ADHD, anxiety, bipolar, depression, etc.
Can I interrupt real quickly and ask you, when you say you've battled it, do you mean that the children actually have those problems, or you've battled the diagnosis of those problems?
No, the diagnosis I think is correct.
Okay.
But so we've gotten at it. We've sought competent medical care, and we've tried different medications and things over the years. But I'm a dentist, and I have taken a high interest in sleep disorders in the last few years, and we are actually now figuring out that many of these things, and it's not 100%, but many of these things can be treated by increasing the breathing wellness and also the oxygen level to the brain when we go to sleep. And these kids are coming out and they can't breathe, and they breathe through their mouths, and they don't get enough oxygen into their brains, and so their brain just can't function very well, and the manifestation of that are all kinds of mental illnesses.
So are you saying that, and I'm going to use the term sleep apnea, and I'm going to use that in a very generic form. Are you saying that these young children have some sort of sleep apnea that's preventing enough oxygen to the brain?
Absolutely. Go on YouTube anytime and look at some of those, and there are a ton of them that show kids that their parents have video recorded them, and they stop breathing. But even sometimes, like you said, sleep apnea is just as a small segment of this. There's all kinds of different things that we do while we're sleeping, but even labored breathing, even snoring, and those kinds of things are indications that our breathing system while we're sleeping is just not working properly.
So Chris, let me ask you, in your studies then, what is the, I guess it's a two-part question. Is there an increase in this syndrome or phenomenon, whichever you want to call it? And if so, what is the cause of it?
Well, the answer to that is yes, and it goes back to the way we were raised. A lot of people think it must be genetic, but it really isn't. It's environmental, and it can start with bottle feeding, pacifiers. Soft diets is probably one of the biggest things, because with the soft diets our kids are eating, when they're younger, they don't actually exercise the muscles that pull on the bones to cause the bones of the face to grow. And so they end up with a smaller maxilla, which is the upper jaw. They end up with a smaller, narrower face, which impinges upon the breathing apparatus. And so the goal is to increase the maxilla, and so that there's a lot more air that can get through, and resulting in better oxygen levels. I mean, I think it doesn't take a doctor to understand that when you don't get enough oxygen to your brain, things are going to happen.
Oh, listen, as a guy who has sleep apnea, I totally understand it. Do you know how much my life has changed just having had that diagnosed? Oh, man, yep. It's like night and day. But so then do you advocate for earlier feeding of solid foods to babies than most pediatricians today do?
Yes, and I think
I'm chuckling because my father-in-law, who was a medical doctor, he was an old town surgeon. He advocated that a long time ago. He thought that this feeding of soft foods and not giving babies solid food earlier in life was the cause of a whole host of problems.
Yes, I agree 100%. I wish somebody would have listened to him.
Well, we did. Trust me, we did with our kids.
Good. Well, good. That's. But and again, there are a lot of causes of this, and I'm not trying to say that every kid that has ADD, needs to have his maxilla grown. But I can tell you that we are finding that is very common. We're actually treating children as early as age 3. With underdeveloped jaws, and we can treat them with appliances that will gently cause that bone to grow, and it makes room for the adult teeth when they're time to come in. I mean, there's just a lot of advantages, but the point I want to make is this is not about orthodontics. This is not about teeth. It's about the breathing apparatus. The teeth happen to be involved, but it's not about moving teeth. It's about the bone and getting the the floor of the nasal cavity down. The palate, which is the roof of the mouth, is oftentimes very high in these children, and so they're too narrow and too high, and that just limits their ability to breathe properly.
Well, it's fascinating. So do you, as a practicing dentist, do you do the appliances that some dentists provide in place of CPAP machines?
Yes, absolutely. And I again, there's even some, there's just the new technology that you have to make sure that you seek out, because I treated sleep for quite a few years, and I was sort of raised, so to speak, on moving the mandible, the bottom jaw forward, where the tongue gets out of the way of the breathing, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but oftentimes there are side effects that affect the bite, the jaw joint, et cetera, that I was uncomfortable with. And so now there's a different approach. We actually can stimulate stem cells in the teeth that cause bone to grow. And again, that's pretty revolutionary. It goes against everything I was taught in dental school years ago.
I'm only chuckling because any good medical professional, dentist, veterinarian, medical doctor, whatever it might be, as long as you study and keep up with what's going on, you'll always be on the forefront. And you'll always figure out that some of the stuff that, even lawyers, you will figure out that some of the stuff that you were taught in dental school, medical school, vet school, or in law school was a whole bunch of hocus pocus. Right?
Yeah, we try not to say that out loud too often, but it's 100% true.
It's 100% true, and we might, and I think, and I get your point about we don't like to talk about that, but I think we live in a sophisticated enough society that we all kind of know that, and so we ought to embrace the fact that I think medical knowledge, technological change, all of these things are moving so quickly, so rapidly, that we ought to admit that, yeah, what we learned or what we thought we knew even 10 years ago might be hocus pocus.
Yeah, I feel bad for what I used to do to people. But again, I'm not giving you my last name, so those people can't run me down.
Angie's got your number down. We're going to hunt you down. Yeah, we're going to hunt you. You're in deep doo-doo because you made the mistake of calling into this program. That's always a mistake. Let's go to, hey, Kristen in Albuquerque. I've only got 60 seconds, but I really want to hear this.
Hey, hi. I really like your show.
Thank you.
I am a pediatrician, and I see this kind of pressure that the parents are put under to ask me for Ritalin. And so that the guy, Bill, earlier who called, and he implied that kind of connection. I'm here to tell you it's much more than an implication. It's actually happening.
Oh, I think there's pressure, but just like I'm talking with somebody on Facebook, parents need to learn to do two things. One, stand up to the pressure, but two, seek medical advice. There's not a school that I know in this country that knows anything about medicine other than a medical school.
Exactly. And just the other comment that I had about this, the dentist you're talking to was very interesting. I think sleep apnea is a player here.
Kristen, you can either hold or I got to let you go. Your choice. I'm going to put you on hold, and you can decide what you want to do. I got to take a break here. You're listening to Michael Brown on KOA News Radio, 850 AM, 94.1 FM, and always on the Michael Brown Show page at KOANewsRadio.com.
Mandy Connell here. Big day. We've got Congressman Ken Buck at 1:30, and then CU visiting conservative scholar Stephen Presser back to talk religious freedom and what that means in the Constitution. That and more starting tomorrow at 1 on KOA News Radio.
You know, if your business is not getting leads and traffic through your website, if your company has a lousy rank in Google, call the digital marketing experts I'm using to build my new website. Get Found Fast has been helping businesses develop internet strategies to generate leads for more than 12 years. SEO, social media, reputation management, and awesome state-of-the-art websites like they're building for me. Let Get Found Fast do a free analysis of your website and online presence. It only takes 10 minutes, and you can do it by phone. GetFoundFast.com. That's GetFoundFast.com.
PatriotSoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
Patriot's cloud-based accounting software is easy for business owners, yet powerful enough for accountants.
PatriotSoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
If you're not making $5,000 to $10,000 a month at your current job, then maybe it's time to start flipping properties for some quick cash. If you like the sound of that, you're in luck. Over the last 5 years, the NVREA team has been perfecting the art of flipping properties for cash without the added risk of using your own money or credit. Call now and they'll send you a free copy of their DVD, Hidden Treasures in Wholesale Flipping. On this DVD, you'll see their easy wholesale flipping strategy for locating, evaluating, and flipping a property for profit in your area. Plus, learn how you can access highly discounted properties and the right funding partners for that perfect wholesale flip. Call 1-800-614-2196 now to get your free wholesale flipping DVD. Call 800-614-2196 and they'll also throw in free tickets to an information-packed live flipping training class, which includes a free smartwatch just for attending. Call 800-614-2196. That's 800-614-2196 to get your free flipping DVD now. Brought to you by NVREA.
Hey guys, it's Sue Costner, your favorite sexual health expert with another version of Ask the Pro. This month, I got a letter from Sandy in Seattle about an explosive bedroom secret she and her husband recently discovered. She writes, Dear Sue, my husband and I used to have a great life in the bedroom, but in the last few years, he has struggled. He's tried just about everything, but nothing has worked. Then one day he came home and gave me a night I will never forget. He told me about this secret formula, Noxitril, that changed our life in the bedroom once and for all. Wow, Sandy, you beat me to it. I recommend Noxitril to every guy that struggles in the bedroom. It's the only one. Noxitril is all natural and works to increase blood flow fast. It's like that little blue pill on steroids. And Noxitril has a special free bottle offer, shipped discreetly to your door.
To find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril, call 1-800-993-2480. That's 800-993-2480. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-993-2480. That's 800-993-2480.
You didn't file your taxes last year, and the IRS didn't say anything. The fact is, you haven't filed income taxes for several years, and you figure it's too late. It'll cost too much, and there's no way you're going to figure it out. But there's still that knot in your stomach, knowing it's just not right. The bad news is, right now, you're a fugitive from the IRS. The worst news is, if they catch you, it's 1 year in jail for every year you haven't filed. I'm Jack McDonough, founder of Blackfin IRS Solutions. The good news is, the instant we file your back taxes, you go from being a fugitive to just owing money. And then, Blackfin can negotiate with the IRS for you. I can help you because I've been there. The sooner you call Blackfin about filing your back taxes, the sooner you'll get a good night's sleep.
Get caught up on your unfiled income taxes. Call Blackfin IRS Solutions online at blackfinirs.com. For your free in-person consultation, call 303-904-1450, 303-904-1450, or blackfinirs.com.
KBCO HD3 Boulder. This is an iHeart radio station.
KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM. The 50,000-watt blowtorch of the Rocky Mountain West.
KOA News Radio time is 10 o'clock. I'm Roger Hudson. Our top story, Colorado is now one step closer to getting rid of its death penalty. Why some are calling foul. But first, traffic and weather together. Here's Darren Copeland.
Well, the roads in town look good, but everything else, I-25 meanwhile is free, running free. I-70 in town is looking good even through the construction. The mountains are another matter. Eastbound I-70 has been closed from Vail to Loveland Pass due to multiple accidents and spin-offs. Additionally, Loveland Pass has been closed in both directions due to safety concerns about the weather. So if you're thinking about heading up to the mountains, you might want to wait just a little bit. I'm Darren Copeland with KOA News Radio, Colorado's news, traffic, and weather station.
Late rain snow mix here possible in Denver. We're not looking at much accumulation. There's enough to get the roads a little wet and slick for the morning commute. So just watch out for that in the morning. Temperatures tonight 23. Tomorrow, let the warm up begin. 52 degrees, mostly sunny skies. We will still be in the 50s again on Friday. From CBS 4, I'm meteorologist Lauren Whitney on KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
It is definitely cold outside. Cloudy and 29 degrees at DIA. The Senate Judiciary Committee has voted along party lines this evening to send a bill to repeal Colorado's death penalty to the full Senate for debate. The committee voted 3-2 after hours of emotional public testimony on both sides of the bill tonight. Supporters of the bill say it's used unfairly and is inhumane, but El Paso County DA Dan May told the senators that this is an issue that should go to the people.
Consistently since 2013, I recall Pete Weir asking you to put this to a vote of the people, to not have it be elitists, quite frankly, that may decide what the people of Colorado want.
There are currently 3 men on death row here in Colorado. The last time the death penalty was used was back in 1997. Well, county commissioners unanimously passed a resolution today to become a so-called Second Amendment sanctuary county. They're joining a group of growing Colorado counties that have adopted a policy to oppose a proposed red flag bill that's currently at the state capitol. Under the resolution, commissioners would not fund a storage facility for weapons seized by law enforcement. Additionally, the county would support the sheriff if he decided not to enforce the bill if it becomes law. The so-called red flag bill, in case you don't know, would allow family members or law enforcement to petition a judge to remove firearms from a home of someone who they deem dangerous to either themselves or others. Former Governor Hickenlooper says that he's the guy in the presidential race who can accomplish things.
I think the fact that we are, in many ways, the one candidate who's actually been able to get stuff done and move forward will capture people's imagination.
Hickenlooper spoke to the media in Denver in advance of his campaign rally set for tomorrow at Civic Center Park. It was an emotional hearing in Washington as a senator revealed that she'd been raped by a superior officer when she was serving in the Air Force. Senator Martha McSally was the first American woman to fly in combat. She said today that, like many other victims, she didn't report the incident at the time.
Like so many women and men, I didn't trust the system at the time. I blamed myself. I was ashamed and confused. And I thought I was strong, but felt powerless. Often emotional,
McSally spoke at the Senate hearing on the prevention of military sexual assault. Our next update at 10:30. I'm Roger Hudson, KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
Renters Warehouse has big news. They've acquired one of America's leading online real estate investment marketplaces and are the nation's leading real estate investment services company. This means Renters Warehouse is now your one-stop shop to research, buy, lease, manage, and sell single-family rental properties. Whether you're looking at 20 properties or just one, you can easily do it all from the comfort of your own home. Heck, you can even do it from your phone. And your properties can be anywhere in the country. It all starts by visiting renterswarehouse.com today.
Need help navigating the complexities of Medicare? If you're a United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plan member, you can take advantage of one-on-one support. With United Healthcare, you have help to guide you through the healthcare system. They can answer your Medicare-related questions, help schedule appointments, and make it easier for you to get the care you need when you need it. Go ahead, take advantage of your United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plan. Learn more at AdvantageUHC.com.
Tonight, Michael Brown joins me here.
The former FEMA director.
Talk show host Michael Brown.
Brownie. Now.
Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job.
It's a heck of a show with Michael Brown.
You're on the radio.
On KOA News Radio.
Well, actually, it's not the Michael Brown show. It's a combination of Judge Judy and Dr. Phil and I don't know, Dr. Oz. And isn't there some show on TV called The Doctors, Angie? Have you ever watched that?
Yes, I have.
What do they talk about?
Different ailments. I remember there's some weird stuff that you would probably be grossed out about.
No, I love medical stuff.
They had the Dr. Pimple Popper
Oh,
on.
Lord. We should ask, let's go back to Kristen in Albuquerque. Kristen, how are you?
I'm good. I know about that website. It's kind of gross.
Wait a minute, you're a pediatrician and you're telling me something's gross?
It is gross.
Come on, you're a pediatrician.
Yeah, I know.
So, where were we?
Well, I just wanted to mention the sleep apnea aspect associated with ADHD.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. I actually had a brain fart during the break because Angie and I were too busy we were talking about how this program tonight has completely been derailed.
Oh, yeah. You know, the interesting part about, I've never thought about like facial structurally how that can impair the breathing mechanism, but I guess that makes sense. But I just also wanted to suggest, well, there's more of a suggestion. There's a very big tie between obesity and sleep apnea.
Sure, right.
And we're seeing more and more fat kids all the time, the childhood epidemic, and as a result, sometimes in these kids you end up seeing sleep apnea. I have a 5-year-old kid who I see fairly regularly who's now a diabetic. And
whoa, a 5-year-old diabetic? Now, how much of that was genetic versus how much of that was environmental, what they were eating?
Oh, I think a lot of it is diet. You know,
in this 5-year-old?
Yeah, big time. The kid weighs like 300 pounds.
Oh, now, Kristen. Now I know you're in Albuquerque, and I know that you get up to Taos and Santa Fe, you get a little kind of hipster kind of stuff. But you're telling me that you have a 300-pound 5-year-old diabetic patient
with sleep apnea?
Well, of course. Duh. I'm going to make that assumption. Now, look. I'm not going to ask you to violate any sort of patient privilege here, any HIPAA regulations. But what are the parents doing?
Well, yeah. Well, and I've looked for underlying, other issues with this kid, like thyroid disorder. I think the kid is depressed, and she's a eater, and so that's how she comforts herself. She hides food in her room, and it's.
I mean, I find that incredibly sad. 300 pounds at 5 years old. Me
too. I mean, I've got the bariatrician involved, and there's not a whole lot they can do, You
can't do the bariatric or what is it, the bypass? They're too young for that, aren't they?
Oh, way too young. Yeah. So.
Well, you've just made me all depressed now. You see, I was actually in a good mood now, and now I thought we were going to have a great conversation about, because I had a whole bunch of questions I wanted to ask you, but now I just want to go, I'm going to go in the corner and eat donuts or something. Jiminy Christmas.
Don't eat donuts. Eat a salad.
Oh, man. No, I'll eat a salad with a big pile of salad dressing on it. How about that?
Yeah, well, okay, low fat. So with this kid, though, and I'm seeing more and more of it, these kids have what's called canthonigrosis or nigricans, and that's a skin finding on the neck and the knuckles. If you ever see somebody with kind of a velvety, kind of brown, kind of what looks like it might be a rash on their neck, that's due to that's insulin resistance, and so that's a pre-diabetic state. And so what I'm trying to do is be proactive and show these parents, you see this on his neck, that means he's pre-diabetic, and it's a finding that's a bit more common in Hispanic and African American folks, but it's something that at least it's kind of physical proof. I can show a parent, hey, look, this is what's going on with your kid.
So what is a maybe this one patient, or just generically, what is the A1C level of a pre-diabetic 300-pound 5-year-old?
Or pre-diabetic, A1C. I mean, if it's less than 6, that's good. 6%.
Yeah, but is that what it would be for? I guess maybe I'm not expressing myself well. I'm trying to understand. So a 300-pound 5-year-old is or is not diabetic at this point?
No, she's definitely a diabetic.
Oh, definitely diabetic. So what would that child's A1C level be? I mean, well over 7, I assume.
Yeah, it's 8.3 or something.
Holy cow! At 5 years old.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. I don't know anything about your practice, and I don't want you to divulge a bunch of stuff about your practice, but do you see a lot of this? I mean, like, if you have 100 pediatric patients, how many of those are obese?
Oh my gosh. up to 30 or 40%.
Now, let me ask you this question. Is that because of the Hispanic diet?
Well,
and are most of them predominantly Hispanic?
I see a lot. It's possible. There's a lot of health illiteracy in where I am. In other words, people just culturally haven't been trained to really know what's good and what's not good to eat, and some of that is kind of driven by finances because
sure, right.
Let's see, I've got to feed my family. Well, I could buy a whole stack of 20 tortillas and this bag of beans for I can the price of this fresh produce. Let's do the math here. I've got 4 kids to feed and a husband. So I mean, it's a multifactorial issue, and it all really feeds into itself.
Okay, all right. So now let me ask you this, and you got to give me one or the other. There's no in between here. Corn or flour tortillas?
Well, the flour tortillas
so
usually have lard
you couldn't
in
do
them.
it. You couldn't do it. I wanted just corn or flour. Come on.
Well, if you got to pick one, it's corn probably.
Okay.
Because I would weigh against the kind of flour tortillas.
Okay.
Because they're usually
all right.
loaded with hypertriglyceride inducing lard.
Right. Okay. So, but let's assume. Well, I guess we can't make this assumption. Let's set aside refried beans. So, whole pintos or black beans?
Oh, black beans.
You're running my night.
Although,
how about Pasoli?
I don't know about much of what the ingredients of Pasoli is. So
Okay, how about just green chili? How about really good New Mexican Hatch green chili?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely pretty. Yeah, you got a thumbs up on there.
Okay, all right. Cheese enchilada or a just beef enchilada?
X on both of them.
Oh, dang it!
I know.
Hey, Angie, mark down Dr. Kristen's number. She can't call back ever again. She's totally ruined my night.
No Dairy Queen either.
No what?
No Dairy Queen.
Oh, okay. What about not Whataburger. What's the No, there's a burger place in New Mexico. Lotta Burger. What about Lotta Burger?
Oh yeah. They actually make pretty good chicken burritos, believe it or not.
Oh, seriously? Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah.
next time I'm in Taos, I'll stop at Lotta Burger and I'll tell Tamara that Dr. Kristen said I could have a chicken burrito from Lotta Burger.
There you go. Right on. I own no stock in the company.
Listen, thanks for the call. I really appreciate it. You can call anytime. In fact, hey, can I do it? Can I ask a favor?
Yeah.
Can I put you on hold, and would you give Angie your email? So if I have pediatric questions, could I email you?
Sure.
I mean, just generic things I might be talking about or that might be in the news. Do you mind that?
No, that's cool.
Okay,
that's
thanks.
Right on.
Okay, I'll put you on hold. We might have we now have the show's official. What am I doing? I can't get it to go on hold. You got it? Okay, there we go. Now, how do I get out of this hole, Angie? Oh, I know. I'm going to talk about something that I wanted to talk about. 2 nights in a row now, I have, for whatever reason that I think there's no reason for it. 2 nights in a row, the television at the house, before I come into the studio, has been on the CBS Evening News. I tried to flip through the different ones, but the last 2 nights, it was CBS. Last night, the CBS Evening News devoted a full 5 minutes to R. Kelly. Angie, do you know who R. Kelly is?
Yes.
Do you listen to R. Kelly?
It's the remix to Ignition.
It's the what?
Popping fresh out the kitchen. That's a song.
popping fresh out of the kitchen?
Yeah.
Do you have it in the library? In the library? Do you have it? R. Kelly. You know he's like charged with child sexual molestation and he owes like a couple $100,000 in child support and stuff. He's kind of sounds like a dirtbag. Is he a dirtbag? She's looking.
Now, usually I don't do this, but go ahead on, break them off with a little previews of the remix. Now, I'm not trying to be rude, but hey, pretty girl, I'm feeling you. The way you do the things you do reminds me of my Lexus cool. That's why I'm all up in your grill.
Well, that's not such a bad song.
This is one of his popular songs, and this is the only one I know.
And it's in the library, so it's FCC compliant. Okay. Well, that's not so bad. Is all of his music like that, or is he more of the... What? Now you're in there dancing. Stop
I forgot.
dancing.
I wasn't paying attention to you. What?
So is all of his music kind of like, would you listen to me?
I'm listening.
It's been a rough night. It has been a rough night. My program's been totally derailed, and it's all my fault. So is most of his music like that?
I think so. I'd have to go listen to it. I think he sang I Believe I Can Fly. Did he do that one?
I don't know. You're asking me. I don't have a clue. The CBS Evening News, last night, it was their second story. They felt obligated last night to talk about the tornadoes in the South. Tonight, it was the top of the hour news. R. Kelly was number 1. North Korean nukes was number 2. This is all you need to know about American society and American culture right here.
We are going to begin here tonight with an interview many have been waiting for. R. Kelly.
And CBS Evening News has, I'm going to guess, I think Hudson disagrees with me about this. I guessed 5 million viewers. I think that's maybe NBC's numbers. So let's say that CBS, let's just round it out. Let's just take a median, an average. And CBS Evening News has 3.5 million viewers on any given evening. I haven't looked at their Nielsen, so I don't know. They start out by saying, this is the interview that what?
We are going to begin here tonight with an interview many have been waiting for. R. Kelly's.
Now, I stopped last night when Jeff Glor said that and turned to Tamara and said, who's R. Kelly? Who is this? I had no clue who he was talking about. And then I listened to this.
First since being charged with sexual abuse last month.
Now, I thought, you know how your mind speeds ahead and you're making big-ass assumptions before you should? I'm thinking when they said, sexual allegations, I'm thinking, oh, it's a Me Too guy. It's some guy that has, he's somebody somewhere in Hollywood. Actually, Chicago, I think. Is he from Chicago? Is that what the deal is? Is he? You don't know either. So I'm thinking it's a Me Too guy. No. Sexual allegations with underage children.
Gayle King of CBS This Morning just spoke with Kelly. The charges against the singer involve 4 women, 3 of whom were allegedly underage at the time. In an interview that just wrapped, Kelly told Gayle the accusation.
Now, do you get what he's saying here? Jeff Glor is saying, now this is the CBS Evening News. This is the Walter Cronkite channel. Used to be the most trusted man in American news. He was always a wild-ass liberal, but nonetheless, he was the most trusted name in news. So now I'm thinking, or now I'm realizing, Gayle King, Oprah's BFF, has just finished an interview, and they're going to go straight to the interview without editing or anything, and by golly, that's exactly what happens.
Are lies. We have 2 clips here. Here is the first.
They are still talking about you with underage girls. Do you still sit here and say you have never been with underage girls? Can you really say that?
I sit here and say this.
Now, first of all, I don't know. I can only answer for myself. If anybody sat me down, they're like, if I'm sitting down with any news guy or newswoman who has ever interviewed me in my entire life and said to me, have you ever been as an adult with an underage girl, or I guess in these times, an underage boy, my answer would be unequivocally, without any hesitation, no. And in fact, I might stand up and say, and what the hell are you asking me that for? That's not what Mr. R. Kelly does. By the way, anybody just goes by R. Kelly, there's something wrong with you.
We're still talking about you with underage girls. Do you still sit here and say you have never been with underage girls? Can you really say that?
Now, the answer right there should be, yes, I can say that. Wow.
I sit here and say this. I had 2 cases back then that I said in the beginning of the interview that I would not talk about because of my ongoing case now.
Okay.
Well, I'll take that as a yes.
Okay, fair enough. But I will tell you this. People are going.
Anytime somebody tells you, I will tell you this, they're thinking. Their mind. You would be surprised at exactly how fast the mind works. It's why I stumble over my words sometimes, because my mind is about 5 minutes ahead of where my mouth is. Here's a guy on national television who apparently has been alleged to have been having sex with underage children, underage girls. And Gayle King asks him, can you sit here and say you never have been with them? Well, you know, let me think this and that, and let me tell you this and that.
Back to my past, okay? That's exactly what they're doing. They're going back to the past, and they're trying to add all of this stuff now to that, to make all of the stuff that's going on now feels real to people.
But the past is relevant with you with underage girls.
Absolutely no, it's not.
Why?
Because for one, I beat my case. When you beat something, you beat it.
You were acquitted.
We can't double jeopardy me like that. You can't. It's not fair. It's not fair to nobody. When you beat your case, you beat your case.
But
apparently he beat one case, but apparently there are 2 other cases.
I'm not talking about the one case in which you were acquitted. I'm talking about the other cases where women have come forward and said, R. Kelly had sex with me when I was under the age of 18. R. Kelly was abusive to me emotionally and physically and verbally. R. Kelly took me in a black room where unspeakable things happened. This is what they're saying about you.
Not true.
These aren't old rumors.
Not true. Whether they're old rumors, new rumors,
why would they
future
say this
rumors,
about you?
Not true.
Kelly became much more emotional as Gayle continued her questioning. Here's more of that.
Now remember, we're now 2 minutes and 3 seconds into top of the hour CBS Evening News. Now, why am I perseverating on this? This is a glimpse into American culture. At one time, the most trusted news network. No, it's not CNN. CBS News is sitting. Alfred R. Murrow. They're now sitting here spending, I don't, you know, who am I to judge, right? I mean, we could be talking about the Green New Deal. We could be talking about North Korea. We could be talking about the failing economy in China and what that's going to mean for the world economy. We could be talking about the failing economy or the slowing economy in Europe and what that means for the world economy. We could be talking about whether or not we should be withdrawing from Afghanistan. We could be talking about any number, anything. And what are we doing? We're talking about R. Kelly at the top of the news hour. Holy moly. I need a drink, Angie. You're listening to Michael Brown on KOA News Radio, 850 AM, 94.1 FM, and always at the Michael Brown Show page at KOANewsRadio.com.
Tomorrow on Colorado's Morning News,
we take a look at Hickenlooper's run for the White House
as he celebrates his decision with Colorado.
And he worked on Alex Honnold's legendary climb up El Capitan.
Mark Sinott joins us at 8:40 on KOA News Radio.
It's our one and only sale of the year, and it's going on right now. The anniversary sale at Williams Jewelers of Englewood.
We've marked down fine jewelry and timepieces all over the store.
Major markdowns and case after case up to 50% off.
Discounts on designer jewelry, Swiss watches, designer bridal, even diamonds, and our famous estate jewelry.
It's all on sale.
Imagine designer sterling and gold you never see marked down, up to 50% off.
Selected Swiss watches up to 40% off.
And designer bridal, we can't even say on the radio.
It's all on sale at our lowest price of the year.
If you're thinking about getting engaged, guys, have we got a deal for you.
The anniversary sale at Williams Jewelers of Englewood. Our one
and only
sale of the year.
At Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers in Englewood. From anywhere in Denver, we're in Englewood at Bellevue and Broadway. But hurry, it all ends Saturday, March 30th.
Attention! If you're in debt to the IRS and frustrated with your options, for a limited time you can call and quickly check your eligibility for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problem. Through this special toll-free hotline number, you can find out in minutes if you qualify for these powerful new debt reduction programs green-lighted by the IRS for 2019. If you have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or just want to know your options, business or personal, Republic Tax Relief's A-plus rated tax relief system has helped thousands stop IRS collections immediately and saved millions in tax debt. These relief programs will not last forever. Call the hotline number now, 800-406-1794. That's 800-406-1794. Check your eligibility for tax debt savings today. Call 800-406-1794. That's 800-406-1794.
Attention men, Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic is excited to let you know we're opening yet another clinic location, now in North Denver off of I-25 and 120th. From North Glen to Broomfield to Arvada, we're making it easy for the men of Northern Colorado to get effective treatment for their erectile dysfunction. At Rocky Mountain Men's, we're proud of our record here in Colorado. We've successfully treated thousands of men across the Front Range for ED, and we've had success for most men, even in cases where pills didn't give the desired result, had unwanted side effects, or simply didn't work at all. And unlike online pharmacies, we evaluate your medical history in person, check your PSA and testosterone levels, and give you a serious medical consultation to make sure you get the right treatment for your particular situation. So give us a call. Our new Thornton location is now taking appointments, and we have clinics in Central Denver, Castle Rock, and Colorado Springs to best serve our patients. Just $99 gets you a medical consult, a PSA and T test, and a test dose of our treatment if medically advised. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or visit RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Renters Warehouse has big news. They've acquired one of America's leading online real estate investment marketplaces and are the nation's leading real estate investment services company. This means Renters Warehouse is now your one-stop shop to research, buy, lease, manage, and sell single-family rental properties. Whether you're looking at 20 properties or just one, you can easily do it all from the comfort of your own home. Heck, you can even do it from your phone. And your properties can be anywhere in the country. It all starts by visiting renterswarehouse.com today.
This is Dave Logan. You know, we all hope that we never need a personal injury lawyer. I know I do. But if you do, I would suggest you call Dan Kaplis. I've known Dan for more than 20 years. He's a smart, hard-working guy that you can trust. Dan Kaplis is the son of a police officer. He only takes on cases that he believes in, and then he's going to fight like crazy to win. Dan only takes on serious personal injury cases. You can reach Dan at 303-770-5551 or dankaplislaw.com. That's dankaplislaw.com.
KOA News Radio time is 10:30. The Senate Judiciary Committee has voted along party lines this evening to send a bill to repeal Colorado's death penalty to the full Senate for debate. The committee voted was 3-2 after hours of emotional public testimony. While most of the testimony was either pro or con, some, like District Attorney George Brockler, believes voters should decide the future of Colorado's death penalty.
This process should not take place in this room, but should take place on a ballot where all Coloradans can weigh in on this issue.
Governor Polis has said he will sign the bill and commute the death sentences of all three men currently sitting on the state's death row. Democratic National Committee will exclude Fox News Channel from any airing of Democratic presidential debates. DNC Chairman Tom Perez citing a story in The New Yorker about extremely close ties between Fox and the Trump administration. Fox News has responded, urging the DNC to reconsider. In a wide-ranging meeting with the media in Denver this evening, former Governor Hickenlooper has talked about why he's running for president.
This is the most divided this country's been in my lifetime. It's probably the most divided we've been since the Civil War.
John Hickenlooper says he's the candidate who can get things done. He's holding a campaign rally here in Denver tomorrow night at 5:30 at Civic Center Park. And finally, it's the first all-female spacewalk. It's scheduled to take place this month. NASA announcing that on March 29th, 2 women astronauts and 2 female ground flight directors in Houston will make history. The specifics of what exactly they'll be doing on March 29th has not been announced, but March is Women's History Month, and they're going to be making history. Our next news update at 11 o'clock. I'm Roger Hudson on KOA News Radio, 850 AM and 94.1 FM.
As you take to the metro area freeways, watch for emergency crews northbound I-25 at Alameda. There's an accident, and you may have some delays in the area. After that, cone zone activity if you're traveling westbound on C-470, that is, between Santa Fe and Wadsworth. They may have closures, and there's a detour in place that's going to add extra time to your drive. Elsewhere, it's going to be up in the high country as you travel eastbound. It's going to be a little tough. There's 3 different areas where you've got closures due to spin-offs. Due to the weather up there. One's at Dot Zero. Also, you've got Vail and Vail Pass, where things are a little dicey, as some people would say. No major problems on I-70 across town. You'll make good time on 6 through Lakewood, 36 between here and Boulders. Good, so's Pena Boulevard out to the airport. The CBS 4 weather, you can expect it to be partly cloudy with fog and mist overnight with a low of 24. Tomorrow's high is going to be about 53 with sunshine. Tomorrow night's low, 26. Currently, it's 28. I'm Gary Aldo on KOA News Radio, Colorado's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hi, I'm Rorden Shane, 4th-generation jeweler. From day one, my great-grandfather felt it was important to give customers more options. That's why Shane Company has more diamonds than anyone else in town, in all sizes, in every price range, and with the broadest selection of diamond shapes. In addition to traditional round and princess cut diamonds, we have cushion cut, oval, pear-shaped, marquise, emerald cut, radiant, even heart-shaped. For each diamond shape and grade, we pick the best diamond cutters in the world, who cut the stones to our superior standards, giving each stone maximum sparkle. No other jeweler does that. See all the diamond shapes at Shanco.com, or even better, come into the store and our team will show them to you. Discover what shape speaks to you. Whether you want to personalize a pendant or fashion ring, or you're building the engagement ring of her dreams, whatever your budget, you'll have more diamond shapes and sizes to choose from than anywhere else in town.
Now you have a friend in the diamond business. Shane Company and Shanco.com.
Pop quiz. If you sell a home for $500,000, how much would a traditional real estate agent charge in commission? If you guessed $25,000 to $30,000, you're right. But if you think that's the only way, you're wrong. This is why thousands of homeowners are making the switch to Rex. With Rex, you get a dedicated agent and a full-service experience at a fraction of the cost. Rex uses game-changing technology to cut out the middleman and save homeowners tens of thousands of dollars in fees. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-REX-HOME. Remember, this is your home. Why give an insane amount of equity away to an agent? Rex offers the lowest fee in the industry without skimping on service. You'll work with a licensed local expert with you every step of the way. Get the most out of your home. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-REX-HOME. DRE license 0197610. Minimum fee applies.
The iHeartRadio Music Awards. One night where we celebrate the artists you thumb up year-round on the iHeartRadio app.
Y'all having fun yet?
And we want you to experience the awards just like the artists. We'll fly you to L.A. You'll walk the red carpet and experience the iHeartRadio Music Awards VIP with front row seats. Open the iHeartRadio app and listen to the iHeartRadio Music Awards station, and you're automatically entered to join us and get some of the best IG photos of your life.
iHeartRadio.
Your music, your stations, your podcasts, all free.
Connect with Michael Brown. Find him on social media through KOANewsRadio.com.
I used to think that I could not go on. Life was nothing but
but now I know the meaning of true love. And I'm leaning on.
Oh, Angie. Let's do some taxpayer relief shots before we get out of here. Somebody was demanding them on YouTube. Called me a rube.
You're a rube.
Find out who that was and block them. Rube. Las Lunas, New Mexico. Somebody opens their door facing a knife and a baseball bat. Now, this is a non-fatal taxpayer relief shot, so this is a pseudo, quasi, semi-taxpayer relief shot.
Taking justice in your own hands. It's what some people feel like they have to do to fight crime. One Valencia County homeowner did just that. Police say he shot 2 people after they broke into his home. Brittany Costello joins us live now with what we know so far about this incident. Brittany.
Well, Steve, it happened on Saturday in the Meadow Lake area. Officers say a man and woman were shot after they forced their way inside that home and demanded money. It was here, behind padlock-chained gates, out in a rural Meadow Lake neighborhood. State police officers say this man, Steven Benavidez and Brittany Torres, broke into that home on Valencia Drive Saturday. According to court documents, the homeowner heard a knock and even recognized the faces at the door. But this time, they were asking for money. Benavidez allegedly holding a knife and Torres an orange baseball bat.
You see, Angie, here's the lesson of this taxpayer relief shot. You show up at my door, even though I may see that it's you, I don't trust you. So if I open the door and you've got a baseball bat and a knife, you might make it onto the taxpayer relief shot sheet.
Investigators say the homeowner reached for a gun near the front door.
Yes, right. You do have access to it. Yeah. Well, guess what I have access to?
Nobody cares.
And shot both of them. A neighbor we talked to today says they heard a number of gunshots Saturday night. They looked outside to find their neighborhood swarming with cops. According to court documents, after being shot, both suspects ended up running off, though they ended up collapsing on Canada Street, about 75 yards from this home. Both were taken to the hospital. So far, only Benavidez has been booked into jail. Torres is facing the same charges and will be booked when she's out of the hospital. The homeowner has not been charged in this case. In documents, investigators noted that the home had a sign stating it was private property.
Yeah, well, don't show up with a baseball bat in a studio or at somebody's house. Just saying. 2 taxpayer relief shots, both from San Antonio. A twofer. 2 San Antonio Popo fatally shot a robbery suspect after he opened fire on them. The Popo believed the suspect robbed a man in his home near Iowa and South Pine around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You see, there's no time safe. Let's see. First out. Let's see. Now we got this. Oh, a woman and a young child were in the Honda Accord driven by the suspect. They were unharmed in the shooting. You know, you take your kids, you take your wife and your kids to a gunfight with the cops. You're as big a dirtbag as R. Kelly. The medical examiner has identified Daniel Moncada, 27, as the man shot and killed by the Popo early Monday afternoon, according to San Antonio Police Department. Officers were called to the home on Springdale Street around 2:50 in the morning. Now, see, the last one was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This one's at 2:50 a.m. in relation to a man throwing things inside the home. I'm sorry, I should not laugh. Police said the man's parents could not control him, so they called the cops for help. When the cops arrived, they went inside to a back bedroom. According to the San Antonio chief, William McManus, said Maconda fired a shotgun at the officer. The officer then returned fire, hitting him several times. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. Maybe they needed some medication. Was it too early to make that joke about medication? Considering all the Dr. Phil and Dr. Kirsten and... Was it Dr. Kristen or Dr. Kirsten? Dr. Kristen, wasn't it? Where'd you go? Can't leave yet. If I can't leave, you can't. Oh, you're still there?
I'm right here.
Okay. A man is dead following an officer-involved shooting at a residence on North 18th Street on Tuesday afternoon. Muskogee Popo arrived at the residence around 3:30 while responding to a domestic disturbance call. Upon entering the home, the Popo discovered a woman on the floor who had been stabbed and found a second stabbed woman elsewhere in the house. They also found a third woman who had been struck in the face, and then they found a man brandishing a large kitchen knife. Let's put two and two together here. What do you think? While confronting the man with the knife, the Popo were able to evacuate the three women and get them to a hospital. Multiple attempts were made to get the man to put the knife down before the officers tased him to no effect. We haven't tased you yet, Angie.
What are you talking about?
We haven't tased you yet.
What do you mean? What do you mean yet?
Well, I thought we were going to tase you.
I don't remember that.
Well, because I'm always curious. Multiple attempts were made to get the man to put the knife down before officers tased him to no effect.
So what are you trying to say?
Well, I'm just curious what effect it would have to tase you. Would you yell uncle? I think you would yell uncle in a New York second.
Nope.
Not even a New York minute, New York second. You would
Never.
too. The altercation moved outside. See, think about that. So you tased the old boy. Now, let's go back. Let's take an inventory here. The Popo discovered a woman on the floor who had been stabbed. They found a second woman who'd been stabbed elsewhere in the house. Then they find a third woman who'd been struck in the face. Then they find a man brandishing a large kitchen knife. So when they got three women out, they confront the man in the back room. They told him to put the knife down. He didn't put the knife down. They tase him to no effect. And then I like this part. The altercation moved outside, where officers attempted again. You know, and I'm sure people will bitch about this. Why'd they have to shoot him? Why'd they have to shoot him? The altercation moved outside, where officers attempted again to negotiate with the man. Following that, they fired beanbags at the man in a second non-lethal attempt to disarm him. When that too failed, they tried a third thing. They dropped a flashbang at his feet. When the man, this old boy's on PCP or something. When the man continued to charge the police while still holding the knife, the officers fired their weapons. The man was struck multiple times and died right there. He was dead right there. DRT. We used three types of less lethal force and none were effective. Officers were forced to fire. They've not been identified. The women haven't been identified. The Muskogee Popo will conduct an internal investigation and release more details as they become investigated, as they become available. Investigators will continue to work on the scene, and from there it will eventually go to the DA, where the DA better decide that these cops did everything they could. Holy moly. Well, why did they have to shoot him? Why'd they have to shoot him? Oh, I get so tired of people. Oh, let's see. What are we going to do next? We did that. Oh, yeah, Jerry Nadler. Jerry Nadler has decided that he thinks that Donald Trump has indeed committed obstruction of justice. Listen to what he says he thinks is obstruction.
The facts laid out for the American people.
Do you think the president obstructed justice?
Yes, I do. It's very clear that the president obstructed justice. It's very clear. 1,100 times he referred to the Mueller investigation as a witch hunt. He tried.
Wait a minute. That's obstruction of justice? The president of the United States refers to an investigation about him as a witch hunt. That's obstruction? Congressman Nadler, hey, congratulations on losing all the weight, but I think maybe when you lost all the weight, you may have lost some brain cells at the same time. The president has, guess what? He has a First Amendment. I know he's the president, but the Constitution still applies to him too.
He tried to protect Flynn from being investigated by the FBI.
He tried. Hey guys, could you lay off General Flynn? No, sir, we can't. Okay. Not obstruction of justice. This is true desperation.
Comey, in order to stop the Russian thing, as he told NBC News.
Oh. He fired Comey, which he has a constitutional authority to do. He's a member of the executive branch. The president can fire anyone who works for him for any cause or for no cause, even the FBI director. Well, Michael, the FBI director is appointed for a year for a term of 10 years. A term of 10 years at the pleasure of the president. So if the president wants to terminate him, he can do so. Yep. Even if he tried, even if he said, and I do agree here, he should have kept his mouth shut, because you don't need a reason to fire the FBI director. You don't like his tie. Well, don't say you don't like his tie. You don't like the fact that he's 3 feet taller than you. Well, don't say that. Just tell him you're fired.
He's dangled he's threatened, he's intimidated witnesses in public.
If that's the case, then
He's intimidated witnesses in public. He also started to say that he's offered pardons, but I think he backed off, and I think actually I take that back. I don't think that Jerry Nadler backed off the pardon. I think that instead George Stephanopoulos jumped in because he didn't want Nadler to embarrass himself by saying that he's dangled pardons in front of people. He can pardon anybody that he wants to for any sort of federal violations or any impending.
the decision not to pursue impeachment right now is simply political, if you believe he obstructed justice.
No, we have to do the investigations and get all this. We do not now have the evidence all sorted out and everything to do an impeachment. Before you impeach somebody, you have to persuade the American public that it ought to happen. You have to persuade enough of the opposition party voters or the Trump voters that you're not just trying to.
It's a very high bar.
Yeah, it is a very high bar. That you're not just trying to steal the last to reverse the results of the last election. We may or may not get there, but what we have to do is protect the rule of law.
No, what we have to do. I mean, that's a great phrase, right? What we have to do is protect the rule of law. What we really have to do is we have to spend the next 2 years keeping this guy on his hind legs, keeping him on his heels, keeping him off his guard, keeping him on defense as much as possible so that we can beat him next time. And when he says that it's a high bar in terms of impeachment, his fellow Democrats tend to agree.
How many times did Mr. Trump ask you to threaten an individual or entity on his behalf?
Quite a few times.
50 times?
More.
100 times?
More.
200 times?
More.
500 times?
Probably.
That was more damning testimony to come out of Michael Cohen's 7-hour-long House hearing this week. He implicated the president in numerous crimes and even provided the committee with a copy of a $35,000 check he says Trump wrote to cover a hush money payment.
Not illegal. I love the fact they keep throwing this picture up of this check. It's almost like it's, the PCH, whatever it is, that contest on TV. Publishers Clearinghouse. They always show the big check. You've won $7,000 a week for life, for the rest of your life. Oh, well, I just got diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor, but that's great. That's great. They throw the big check up, the $35,000 check. What was that check for? Oh, to keep somebody quiet. You know what? If I want to write a check to keep somebody quiet, there's nothing wrong about that. Nothing wrong with it.
This new information puts Democrats in an interesting position as they decide whether or not to move forward with impeachment proceedings. As NBC News First Read put it, quote, how do they reconcile their growing belief that President Trump has committed crimes, especially after Michael Cohen's testimony on Wednesday, with their hesitation/reluctance to consider impeachment? Speaker Nancy Pelosi has avoided the question all week, and Democrats I've spoken with are hesitant to take a firm position.
We're going to wait for the Mueller report. I think that we've got to be cautious about it. Impeachment is the most serious thing that you can do in American democracy. So it's not ever something that you can take lightly.
Have you heard anything today that would lead you to believe that the president committed a high crime or misdemeanor?
Yes, but I'm not going to make a conclusion. I've heard evidence. Evidence is not a conclusion, but it's a reason to keep looking and testing other accounts.
That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I've seen evidence. Now, evidence is not a conclusion. Evidence just means you got to keep digging. Well, so what? You don't have enough evidence and you can't reach a conclusion? What do you really... They don't want to impeach. Trust me on this. Democrats do not want to impeach Donald Trump.
With us tonight, Anita Kumar, White House correspondent and associate editor for Politico, and Twitter's go-to presidential fact-checker, Daniel Dale, Washington bureau chief for the Toronto Star. Daniel, why are Democrats so hesitant to start impeachment proceedings? They have an abundance of avenues to take. There's the obstruction angle. There's Donald Trump's taxes, potentially, what they may hold. Michael Cohen accused him of committing a felony while he was the president of the United States. That's a lot more than they had with Nixon.
You know, what? A lot more than they had with Nixon? No, they had Nixon doing all sorts of illegal activities. I mean, true illegal activities. Let's go back to the president's taxes for a moment. Let's say that they somehow get a hold of the president's tax returns and they find that in 2017 or 2016, let's say 2016 or 2015, sometime before he was inaugurated, that he somehow cheated on his taxes. Can you be impeached for something that you did when you were not president? I don't think so. And can you impeach? Let's say that they find what they believe is tax evasion, not tax avoidance, because you and I know that tax evasion is a crime. So let's say that they find what they believe to be evidence of tax evasion. If he hasn't been, and this is prior to him being inaugurated, so prior to him becoming president, they find evidence that they think shows tax evasion. Isn't he entitled to due process? Isn't he presumed innocent until proven guilty of that crime? A crime that they claim occurred prior to him becoming president? They are so desperate that they're barking up legal trees that I don't think they even know exists out there. MSNBC's Katie Tour, who was also doing that question, finally gets Sheila Jackson Lee.
Jerry Nadler, the chairman of your committee, said that this probe is looking into obstruction of justice, public corruption, and abuse of power. When you look at this and you look at everybody that's been called and all of the documents that they're requesting, is this an impeachment hearing in everything but name? So when Chairman Nadler said he is building a public record, you're basically saying that you're building a public record that could lead you to full-on impeachment hearings.
And she just keeps asking the question over and over and over.
Chairman Nadler also said that he believes it is clear the president has obstructed justice. He believes it's clear that he's violated the emoluments clause. Michael Cohen said that he committed a felony while he was in office, and he had the checks signed by Donald Trump that he says prove that. Do you agree with Chairman Nadler? Do you believe that the president might have committed a crime? You say there's evidence of obstruction. If there is evidence of a crime that's been committed, do you think that that should lead to impeachment? I understand you're calling it a political process, but I just want to delve in a little deeper and see where the line is when it comes to impeachment and whether it's only a political process. If the president is found to have violated the Constitution by violating the emoluments clause, by accepting bribes, gifts from foreign heads, from foreign countries.
Is that impeachment? Is that impeachment? She asked 17 times, and even Sheila Jackson Lee's like, oh, I don't want to answer that.
That's pretty much all I got.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building.
When it comes to Colorado weather, you never know what's next.
I need the forecast on KOA more than ever.